Chapter 51 Return into Konoha. As I am going towards the Hokage Tower, the root ninja disperse and only Dewey and the 3 other genin. Then as I arrived there we then were told by the secretary that the Hokage was expecting us. Well, I guess he already knew we were coming. He probably saw us in his crystal ball or an Anbu reported to him. Then as I go inside I see the Hokage and all the village elders are there. Even Danzo. The Hokage looks at me and can't keep a smile from forming of his face and he then says, "Yami Inuzuka, I congratulate you." I keep a serious face to mask my depression trauma from killing all the people I did. This is what you call a double-layered mask. I then answer seriously. "For what, Hokage-sama?" He noticed my mood and says, "Seriously, you are promoted to Jounin." The genin's eyes widen. After all, a 10-year-old Jounin is the youngest Jounin ever recorded. This is literally witnessing history. But the Hokage continues and says, "And also," he picks a book from his desk and throws it to me. I catch the book and read it. Aha, so my bingo book page got refreshed. Yami Inuzuka. Code name, Red Fang Sky Slayer Yami. Bounty, 73.000.000. Rank, S. Description: he is believed to be good at taijutsu. Tsunade Senju the Slug Princess was his jounin teacher and he might have her freakish super strength. He has big chakra reserves. His strong point is ninjutsu. He is also believed to be good at genjutsu. Be aware the ninja is a schemer. It is suggested he is dealt with quickly and with no time to prepare. Do not underestimate him because of his age. He used that to overcome Chio of the White Troop when he was younger. Wanted for the destruction of the village hidden in the sky. The land of the sky also offers a noble status to anyone who brings him in. He is known for single-handedly destroying the village hidden in the sky, capturing the one-tailed Jinchuriki, cutting of the arm of Chio of the White Troop, massacring the defenseless land of the sky civilians. Numerous killings in the battle against the village hidden in the sand. He is the only student of Tsunade Senju who is still living. He graduated at. There were a whole lot of information about me. Critical and important information. No one is going to underestimate me now. This is a big disadvantage to me. True, the reputation will help me get high-paying S-rank missions even in peacetime, but I don't really care about that. After all, I am only going to do a minimal amount of missions in peacetime. It is better to train or experiment, and I know my power best. I am not S-rank material. Then as I am about to put the book down on the Hokage's desk, he looks at me, smiles and says, "You can keep the book. No need to get a new one for yourself. You just returned, so it's some reading material while you rest." He then says seriously again, "Anyways, your reward will be 12 S rank and 7 missions to your record. The rank of Jounin as I already said." And he then takes a check and gives it to me. 6 million yo? I just look at the money and say, "Hokage-sama, I don't want the money." His political senses go off and he noticed where I am going with this. He narrows his eyes and brings his hands together to his chin. He then says, "Then what is it that you want?" That means that he is ready to pay a big reward to me. Well then, let's continue this acting in front of the genin and the councilman. In the battlefield I noticed how I was unable to protect myself and I want an S-rank technique as my reward. Except the Hokage, all the others widen their eyes. But no one refuses. After all, it is a fair trade and I didn't ask for an S-rank forbidden technique, just an S-rank. Then the Hokage makes a signal and Anbu comes down. He then says, "The Anbu will guide you where we keep the S-rank ninjutsu, but first you will have to give me a report for your mission." I then do so, and of course I hide some details like the zero tails or my half-truth of me torturing someone I dodged, saying it was a prostitute to keep my image cleared. Then after I do so I am escorted out by an Anbu and him taking me to the Anbu base. Then as we are walking I ask him, I have been gone for a long time, what happened around here?" He just looks at me with his mask which I can't see the eyes. eyes. But he says, sure. And he starts explaining what happened. Hokage returned to Konoha and Orochimaru withdrew from the Land of Rain and took his place in the war against Cloud Village. Tsunade returned to the Mist battlefield. The Spectre Dan is now holding the Rain front lines against Rock together with Sand, which are temporarily our ally. Jiraiya asked for a break, and because of his contributions, he was given one. If my estimation is correct, he should be training Conan, Yahiko and Nagato at this time period. He then starts explaining me some of the alliances we made with Waterfall and Grass Village. Then we arrived at our destination. The Anbu base is actually located surprisingly in a rundown apartment complex. Then when we arrive we go inside. The Anbu escorting me does a secret hand sign to the man in front, who then opens the door for us, but the Anbu says, wait here. Then as I am waiting, I open the bingo book and look at the bounties in there. Author note: guys, I have a Pat Re-on now, and I have a chapter in advance therein for my other DxD story, and a new story of Hunter x Hunter, and like a cheap mail PR0 statute for $2 you get access to all the content there. https www.partian.com. Holy Joker. Taken out of the word Partian. Chapter 52 S rank techniques. I open the book and read, my bounty 73 million yo 60 mil came from the land of the sky and 13 mil from the land of wind. Then I look at other bounties. Tsunade the Slug Princess had 103 million yo bounty, Orochimaru the Snake Master 118 million yo bounty, Jiraiya the Toad Sage had an 113 million yo bounty, Hanzo the Salamander 134 million, Hiruz and the Professor the God of Shinobi 171 million, Chio of the White Troop 82 million. Almighty the Third Raikage had a bounty of 181 million. The White Fang Sakuma 115 million yo. Third Kazekage the Iron Wasteland has a bounty of 133 million yo. Chio's brother, Ebizo of the White Shroud has a bounty of 84 million. I found an interesting one. Heartless Kakazu 147 million yo. Onoki of both scales fence sitter Onoki has a bounty of 142 million. Of course these were only the characters that we see in the main story. There were other people in the S rank like Fullmetal Taro from Cloud Village. 55 million yo bounty has the ability of magnet release. When he shoots a metal projectile, if it touches you it will follow you like a homing missile. Not the magnet release, which has the ability of sand control like those of the Sand Village. There is also the third Mizukage nicknamed the Dragon with 101 million yo bounty. He hasn't really done anything noticeable in this war yet. There also isn't a lot known about his abilities even from the bingo book. The only thing that the bingo book mention is that he is the Mizukage obviously, and that he accompanied the first Mizukage to the first ever 5-Kage summit in Konoha during the first Shinobi War. There is also Dodai the Rubberman 89 million yo bounty. He uses rubber that he makes from his lava style. I believe he is the guy that helped Naruto against Edo Tensei 3rd Raikage. Ah look, there is Blue Bee the current 8-tail Jinchuriki 131 million yo. There are also a dozen more S-rank ninja. They weren't in the main story, but I will still memorize their info just to be sure. After an hour of reading and memorizing the bingo book, the Anbu comes out with a paper in his hand. He gives me the paper and says, these are all the S-rank techniques which aren't forbidden. You will be able to choose one, and I will then go to the Hokage, get a confirmation, then I will deliver the technique scroll to you. I take the paper and read all the techniques names and their short descriptions. There are 98 techniques. The Anbu looks at me and he says, there are 98 S-rank techniques, and do you wanna know the best part? 39 of those S-rank jutsus were created by the second Hokage. I then read some of the ninjutsu in there. Water release. Rising Blast. Rank S. Description: using large amounts of chakra, the user creates water from thin air and forms so much that it creates a mini tidal wave. The water then does not dissipate for the duration of the battle, thus creating an arena where the user has a large advantage. If the climate is exceptionally arid, such as a desert, The water only lasts for a short while before draining into the sand. The depth of the water once the wave has settled is anywhere between 34 meters 98-13-1. Water style, tidal wave jutsu, rank, S. Description: an even better and more devastating water technique than the Suizuha technique. This technique can drown a large village but requires enormous amounts of chakra and stamina, usually an all-or-nothing technique, as it is not used under normal circumstances due to the widespread and indiscriminate destruction that it wreaks. Earth style, rock finale jutsu, rank, S. Description: rocks and debris materials, as well as chunks of the earth, will continuously barrage at the opponent from all directions. As soon as each of the pieces of earth, rock or debris approaches the opponent, they will explode, causing a brutal destructive force with all the pieces exploding. Standing still, the user will clasp their hands and stomp a foot. All material not held down will immediately pop up into the air and hover, and they will fly towards the enemy, and if they touch something they will explode. So long as the user keeps their hands clasped, they may move about freely to avoid the danger of being close to the target and ensuing destruction. Lasts for so long as the hands remain clasped. Fire style, fire hydra technique, rank, S. Description: an extremely powerful technique, used only by the most powerful ninja. It has been known to destroy entire landscapes in one fell swoop, by somewhat summoning a large, fiery monstrosity in front of them, a fire dragon with 3 heads. All of the techniques are amazing and they are not even the S-rank forbidden ones. I want them all. I mean, imagine if I knew only the S-rank elemental techniques in this scroll and was a Jinchuriki of the 6 tails or a higher number-tailed beast. I am sure I could compete with some of the most legendary ninja. I would even be confident of defeating most of the ninja of the past, present and future. Of course the monsters like Madara, Sasuke, Naruto and Hashirama don't count though. I would be able to contend against Hokage Minato. I would just use a wide-range S-rank ninjutsu against Konoha and keep doing that until he exhausts all his chakra and leave an invisible poison gas in the area. 80% chance I would be able to kill him. But of course in a battle there are a lot of different factors. Like, would the Anbu help him against me? Do I have allies? A lot of unstable factors in my calculations, but still I would definitely be a one-man army. There were a lot of other techniques of different elements and non-elemental techniques, and as I looked at them I looked at the one I was most interested. Chapter 53: The best S-rank technique. There were a lot of other techniques of different elements and non-elemental techniques, and as I looked at them I looked at the one I was most interested. Flying Thunder God, rank S. The user needs to be a grandmaster in Fuinjutsu to be able to use it and make his personal seal. Needs great chakra reserves. It is mostly used as a transportation method. The use in battle is almost impossible because of the teleportation. The user might be teleported in front of a kunai. The teleportation is almost instantaneous. To be usable in battle it depends on the thinking process and analytical speed of a person to be able to teleport fast and efficiently. Well then, I mean, there are all kinds of techniques, but the Flying Thunder God is definitely the best non-forbidden S-rank technique. No questions asked. I mean, another S-rank blood-bending jutsu that Tobirama has invented sounded good. Was able to manipulate those weaker than you and paralyze those of the same level for a couple of seconds. I mean, for an average Jounin in a couple of seconds he can pretty much slice you around 30 times. I mean, the impure world reincarnation is one of the techniques that I think could surpass it. But the technique is an S-rank forbidden one and it's not in the list. I then point towards the technique I want and say to the Anbu, "This is the technique I want. The Flying Thunder God." He just looks at me and says, "Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? The Flying Thunder God hasn't been mastered since the second Hokage." I look at him calmly and say, "I know that." He then looks at me and says while pointing, "Ah, you don't get it. Okay, let me explain it to you, kid. Hokage-sama was student of the creator of the technique Tobirama-sama and the previous god of shinobi Hashirama Senju, who brought all the tailed beasts to their knees. You know, tailed beasts are like the trump cards of most nations. So Lord Hokage, who also had Mito-sama to teach him Fuinjutsu and the creator of the technique as a teacher to help him, was unable to learn it, and he is 42 and still hasn't learned the technique. Man, he sure says "sama" a lot. I then just look at him seriously and say, "Can I get the technique now?" He then calms down and says more calmly, "He is not an Anbu for nothing. I am just saying, kid, you shouldn't waste your time like this. You are young, you should expand your jutsu repertoire." I just look at him and think, he doesn't know what I know and has my best interests in mind. But I mean, come on, I know Minato learned it. As I am thinking that, the Anbu continues speaking. Plus, even if you did master it, if you don't have the terrifying instinct that the second Hokage had, the only thing you will get from Flying Thunder God is a fancy and fast way of traveling long distances. I just look at him. Wow, he really is wasting so much of my time. So I just tell him I wanted to try to see how it works because I have hit a bottleneck in my Fuinjutsu. I thought this might be able to help me. Plus, the other techniques are way too chakra intensive and would be difficult to use in a situation. Plus, I am not ready for a wide distraction S-rank techniques. Get the hint, you piece of SHT. You are just wasting so much of my time. He looks at me and says, "Yeah, even though your chakra amount is very large, an elemental S-rank ninjutsu isn't the best idea. You could get hurt and even crippled." He is right. With my chakra, I would be able to use an elemental S-rank technique only once. Well, more like 1.5 times, but still it would not be very efficient. He then continues and says, smiling this time, "Okay, then I will take your decision to the Hokage, see if he will allow it, and then I will deliver the technique scroll to you. By the way, don't get discouraged if you weren't able to learn it. I mean, I had 16 years and I still haven't learned it." He then shins away. What did he mean when he said that he had 16 years to learn the technique? I start walking home. I keep thinking, do Anbu have access to S-rank ninjutsu? At least the ones which are not forbidden. Should I become an Anbu when the war ends? No, that would be a waste of time, just patrolling and protecting important people. Better get an Inuzuka in the butt. I need to ensure who will be loyal to though. Cause if they aren't, then I will have a problem in my hands. I mean, someone telling the Hokage that I ask S-rank techniques from Anbu is a big red flag. They might also become double agents against me. I don't need a retarded version of Itachi who likes dogs and is generally less cooler and way weaker than him as my clan's Anbu. Though who would be a good person to become an Anbu? I need someone young so I can mold An's brainwash easily, and someone who is close to me. Then as I arrive at my house, I see Tsume training in the yard. When she sees me, a smile takes form on her face. Then she runs towards me happily and says, "Yami Onichan, you are back." Author note: I wrote this in my college library for my first chapter. 54. Time goes on. I look at Tsume, smile and say to her, "Hey there, Tsume-chan. I see that you are training hard again." She looks at me and says, "Yes, I want to graduate soon. I am 9. I am going to war and be the strongest ninja ever." I just look at her and smile on the outside, but in the inside I am thinking, well, she would die fast. How she survived up until canon in the story is nothing short of a miracle. This kind of personality, unless you are the reincarnation of Jesus of the Naruto world in Ra and Azura, then there is no way you will survive with her shitty talent. I mean, if she met a high Chunin, then who is going to save her? I mean, if she died, it wouldn't be that much of a big deal in my plans. But what about the timeline? I don't really care about the timeline, but I need certain events to happen for my plan to go smoothly. Her death would also be kind of suspicious. I mean, first the father, then the daughter. I would be the number one suspect. Plus, I don't have anything to gain from killing her. I look at her and say, "Tsume-chan, you mustn't graduate until you are 10 years old, or I give you permission." She just pouts and goes back to training. I then go towards my room for some rest. I note Sum has tried graduating early behind my back, but you know me as a Sanen's student, my words have some pull, plus the teachers understand me and what I am doing is for her own good. I go to my bed and lie down. Time skip 5 months later. MC age 11. Well, I am glad they let me take such a long vacation. I mean, I have a lot of merits and I kind of pushed it with the vacation. But who cares? In the war side of things, Okimaru and Tsukumo are still holding the lightning front lines, though the Reikage has been pushing them back a lot. On the rain side of things, Jiraiya is still probably teaching the rain kids, and a new name has appeared in the battlefield against Rock Village. People have even started calling him a hero. Yeah, my fame from destroying a whole village single-handedly is kind of dwindling. I would take care of him if he was a threat to my plans. If I was a guy who really cared about a dead guy starting to catch up to my fame. His name is Dan Kato, also known as Dan of the Spectre. Before he appeared, even all the S ranks and ninja were barely able to hold back that Tsuchikage, but then Dan came and he used his technique to possess people close to the Tsuchikage and attacks him randomly. It is said that he was able to make the Tsuchikage suffer one loss after another. And that hasn't happened in a long time. Tsunade is easily holding the water battlefield pretty successfully. She is probably the biggest legend formed in this war. If she wasn't here, the casualties on Konoha's side would have been twice as much. She has saved so many lives it is pretty much impossible to count. I think she is 50% of the reason that Konoha will win the second ninja war. Anyways, I have mastered the chain jail Fuinjutsu in 2 months. I also made my own technique. The Rasengan is able to be made with one hand and is perfect for future Minato because he will hold the Hirashin Kunai in the other hand. But for me at best it is just a way to be able to beat people with high defense and not really my trump card, so to say. I then make some hand signs. Tiger, horse, rabbit, rat, dog, and then blue chakra comes towards my hands. Chakra scalpel, then I start infusing wind chakra through my hands. Wind style. Chakra scalpel, the cutting power is through the roof. I haven't tried it yet, but I believe that it has the ability to cut through the Suzu ribcage. Rasenjuriken is an S-rank monstrous technique, but my technique is monstrous in its own way. Still, the chakra control to do this is needed to be perfect. I think my chakra control now is in the top 2 in the ninja world. I should be right next to Tsunade. My physical stats have also advanced now that my body is growing. My natural strength should be around high Jounin, which doesn't really matter cause I have the super strength technique of Tsunade. My natural agility is low elite Jounin. I can raise that to almost S-class speed with my 4-leg technique. These natural stats are really impressive for an 11-year-old. But it didn't come from nowhere. The training I do is inhumane together with my medical knowledge. Well, let's just say that Lee has nothing on me with my training efficiency. Though he does beat me in effort. I have other things to learn, not just taijutsu. But even though I train efficiently, I don't think there is anyone also who can train like me because of the immense pain. So I just nullify my pain with a little senbon in my nerve system and do the calculations to not hurt my body accidentally. After all, I don't feel pain in that period of time. Anyway, on the Flying Thunder God technique I haven't made a lot of progress. I have 6 clones working at it at all times, but almost no progress is made. I also have the last book of Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, but I still can't use the Flying Thunder God. Even when I learn all the Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, I'm not sure I will be able to use it. I mean, the Fuinjutsu formula looks simple at first sight, but I feel like a kid who just learned 2 + 2 = 4 and then he gets a math exercise with 4 unknown factors. How the hell did the second Hokage come up with it? I have a whole different perspective of him now. How did a guy like that get killed by Ginkaku and King Kaku? I don't know, but anyway, I look at a note in my hand. It was left by an Ambu yesterday to meet with the Hokage. Yeah, I am important enough now and can't get summoned at the whims of other people. They need to send me an appointment first. I wear the usual green hoodie and Anbu pants with sandals. They are like the only clothes I have. They are efficient and good for camouflage. I am not really trying to look good anyway. I wonder what the Hokage is calling me for. It isn't a clan head meeting, they aren't held in wartime unless a Sharingan is stolen. A clan member is a spy or something like that. I wonder what is the reason I am being summoned. Though I have a pretty good idea of what it is for. Chapter 55 Meeting with the Hokage. I wonder what is the reason I am being summoned, though I have a good idea of what it is for. I then go to the Hokage's tower, and as I enter I see the receptionist. She looks at me and says, "The Hokage is waiting for you in Yuzuka-sama." I arrived exactly on time. I go inside the office and I see Hiruzen and Danzo in the other two council members are missing. But there is a Shikamaru-looking guy. Probably Nara. They are usually the strategists of our battlefields. Then the Hokage looks at me, smiles and says, "I see that you are getting stronger every time we meet." Wow, I feel like he starts every conversation with a smile. I just say to him, "Well, hard work never betrayed anyone." He looks at me and says humorously, "Yeah, you are right. Hard work betrays no one." He then gets serious and says, "Then let's get right to the point. I need someone to go support Tsunade on the mist battlefield." Well, not really support. There has been Cloud Ninja seen in the territory of the battlefield between Mist and Konoha. Never hurt to cautious. You will act as her second in command. Then Danzo comes forward and says cynically, "We also want you to end things there in the Mist battlefield. I want you to kill the commanders in the Mist battlefield." These guys. Are they playing good cop, bad cop? Is it a way for them to test me or something? Are they suspicious of something? I don't like not knowing things. This all went through my mind in half a second. So I just looked at them seriously and said, "Well, I will give it all my efforts. When do I have to get ready to go there?" Then the Nara lookalike says, "We will set off in 5 days. I will also be coming with you." I look at him and say, "Okay, I am Yami in Yuzuka, sir." He just looks at me and makes a smirk and says, "I know you, kid. My kid used to talk about you a lot. Sigh, what a drag that was. Plus you are kind of famous around Konoha." I look at him and think I was famous really? I might have destroyed a village. But I thought I might be overshadowed by the seinen. I mean Jiraiya also destroyed the Dragonfly village. That action also started the war. Though Sarutobi was there, but it was more as support to make sure no one escaped who then might come back for revenge. At least those are my thoughts on the events. It is described with way too much propaganda on the Konoha books. I didn't even read past the couple of pages. I mean, they accused them of stealing a very benevolent noble or something like that. When in reality Fire Country just wanted to expand their territory. Well, as they say, history is written by the winners. But in the other countries they say that Konoha massacred the small ninja village and the other countries wanted justice. But in reality they were afraid of the Fire Country getting more land, so they also started attacking their small neighbors to also get more land to be able to keep up with Konoha. And then Konoha was like, "Why are you massacring weak villages?" Because Konoha was now afraid of them. Then they were like, "Well, you started it." They started with small conflicts amongst each other and Konoha said to stop attacking the small villages. They didn't, and then boom, war comes. With Konoha in the middle of all the ninja villages, so it became a very disadvantaged situation for Konoha since the beginning. But Konoha was able to survive thanks to many legendary ninja like the Seinen, White Fang, the Scepter, the Professor, the Darkness of Shinobi, etc. I just look at him and say, "Are you Shikaku's dad?" He smirks and says, "Yeah, I am Shikamaru Nara, the current clan head of the Narakan, and I represent Enoshikacho Alliance, which is such a drag." What the hell is up with that tired aura around him? That is weird, kind of like Killing Intent, but it just expresses his boredom. And it is pretty much useless. I wonder, does he do that unconsciously? Killing Intent can be made unconsciously and consciously. Anyway, I just tell him, "Well, I see that you know me, but I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yami in Yuzuka. I like training, my Ninken and Konoha. I dislike war and needless killing. My hobbies are eating delicious food and learning new things. My dream for the future is to become the strongest Hokage so I can protect Konoha and all of those I love. The Nara looks at me with his sleepy eyes and says, "Way too much info I didn't really ask for or need." Well, I need you to think you understand me and have me figured out. Because I am not really sure if I can hide things from an experienced and intelligent Nara who is best friends with the head of the clan who specializes in reading memories and dealing with information. I just look at him in a serious way and say, well, we are comrades and we need to know each other, plus I don't think you are a spy. Change buff Shikamaru. I look at Yami Inuzuka suspiciously and think, this kid. Chapter 56. The mask has been seen. Change buff Shikamaru. Well, we are comrades and we need to know each other, plus I don't think you are a spy. I look at Yami Inuzuka. This kid. He is definitely wearing a mask. You notice these kind of things when you are always on guard against spies in our midst. Even though I wasn't sure in the beginning that he was wearing a mask, his body language is perfect, not surprising since he is a medic. But that is also what made me suspicious in the beginning. It was too perfect. Even with Tsunade you are able to notice how she is feeling from her body language and slight face twitch. Though if I was an enemy and she was on guard, there is no way I would be able to notice it in the midst of battle. Even though sometimes she is very expressive of her feelings. But this kid, he is too guarded even against the Konoha ninja. He is hiding something. I can count the people who would be able to notice his mask in one hand, and 3 of them are in this room, me included. I then say to the kid, sure kid, sigh, this is such a drag. Anyway, my name is Shikamaru. I like cloud watching and playing shogai with my friends. I dislike dishonest people. He doesn't even flinch slightly when I say that. This control over his body's natural reactions are scary even for ninja, especially ninja his age. But I continue saying, and people who go out of their way to disrupt my cloud watching. My dream is to live until this war ends so I can be lazy and play shogai all day. He just looks at me without an even trace of anger and just says, you know, old man, you are really lazy. This is the thing that makes me suspicious of him. His teammates died because some ninja were lazy or didn't look hard enough and let a big group on ninja with Jounin and Chunin pass. I thought he would criticize me. But he is so calm, like, well, anyway. The Hokage then says, Yami, as the second in command, if Tsunade is ever fighting against an opponent, I need you to lead the ninja. If you want to just go and help Tsunade, I need you to give command to Shikamaru because he will be your second in command and will be a critical part in planning strategies. He looks at us and then says, I understand, Hokage-sama. Then the Hokage says, I won't keep you any longer. I am sure you need to prepare for the journey. He gets the hint and goes out of the office. When he is gone, there is silence for a couple of seconds until I say, Sue, I am sure you noticed that the kid is wearing a good mask. Then the Hokage looks at me and says, that kid. He lost 2 of his teammates in a mission. In the reports from the medic they say it was a miracle he was able to stay conscious and come back alive after the battle against some Sanid Jounin. I then say to them, that is true, he doesn't like to show weakness and he has a mask. We don't know what is hidden behind the mask. But what I believe from all of the information that I have about his life is that he hides his so-called weakness, or as he proceeds as emotions, behind a mask. I believe for his mask to be so good he started wearing it young. Probably when he learned that his father was dead. Then Danzo is also looking at Hokage-sama. Then he says, if we weren't at war he would have been perfect for my root program. The Hokage frowns, looks at Danzo and says, no, you aren't allowed to take clan children or ninja with talent in your root program. We need them to be the light. I look at them and think, Hokage-sama really hates the root program. I mean 99.9% who know of it hate it. But still the Hokage knows that root ninja are efficient and very useful. A root Chunin could assassinate a Jounin with a suicide technique, or just simply attacking and having paper bombs wrapped around him. Not even the most devoted ninja will do that. We have thousands of Chunin, but only a handful of Jounin. If even one is taken out, it is a great loss. They are after all the best ninja in their generation. There is a saying that there is no weak jounin. Even though the route missions will never be made public, I hear that they are very gruesome. From assassinations of whole bloodlines from the elderly to the babies. Torturing nobles and killing their family one by one in front of them to make them talk. Torture techniques that would make even the most veteran ninja throw up. Like harping daughters in front of their families, torturing their kids in front on them. That is why none of the clans even dare to get any smart ideas. I am brought out of my thoughts by Danzo's voice, who says, "I know I wouldn't take him even if you gave him to me." We all know that is not true. I think that while Danzo continues speaking, look at the strategy he did in the Land of the Sky. He is without a doubt an asset to Konoha. If he wasn't so young, I would have even recommended him as a frontline army commander. The Hokage looks at Danzo with a little surprise, then he smiles and says, "Are you getting sentimental, Danzo? Does he remind you of yourself when you were younger?" Wait, how does he get that? Oh, I see now. The father died in the battlefield of war, same with Danzo, comrades dead, same as Danzo. Well, that is pretty much it. But I bet you could match that background with 80% of the Konoha ninja. I am sure the Hokage is just trying to get under his skin. Danzo looks at the Hokage and says calmly, "Aren't you too old for these types of games, Hiruzen?" The Hokage shrugs his shoulders and says, "Oh well." Then an Anbu signaled us that the next visitor is coming. Change Boff Yami's Poff. Chapter 57, Unnamed Chapter 57. Title: You have been played. Change Boff Yami's Poff. As I go outside of the office, I think back to the conversation. I know I am not getting something that happened in that room. Those answers, those questions with the Nara. They were SHT, SHT, SHT. Goddamn it, he played me. He got me, that Bart. Okay, I need to calm down first. How would they think of me? Obviously they wouldn't jump to the conclusion that I am a reincarnated person. They shouldn't have been able to see through my mask and seen my real personality. Even if they did, it doesn't matter, they think it's just another Orochimaru. And that is not bad since he hasn't left Konoha yet. That behavior isn't considered bad since it's only being used against the enemy. Okay, I get my mistake now. I wasn't able to understand the game the Nara was playing until it was too late. What I lack is wisdom that comes with experience. That is true. The most I manipulated in my last life was a teacher or a classmate, people who I know their personalities are easier to manipulate and predict. I was able to manipulate people because I knew so much about them from the anime. Hokage and Danzo are dangerous because even if I might be able to manipulate them, I am 50% sure they will notice my intentions. After all, they have experience in that. Anyway, now that the gig is up, I need another personality, one which isn't that different from the last one. One where the Nara won't notice that what I am hiding is dangerous. How about one where I don't blame anyone else except myself for the death of my teammates? But I need to make it seem natural. I didn't notice that he was leading me on. I need to be more careful. After all, I am more dangerous than Orochimaru. I am not some sadistic guy who kills for SHT and giggles. I am someone who is unpredictable to these people. After all, I am acting based on my future knowledge. 5 days later, I am waiting for the others to arrive here. I have prepared a lot for this war. I even have like 1 year worth of food in a storage scroll. That is in case I am banished from Konoha and need to go in hiding. I will live for a year in a cave and train or something. Though that is a very, very unlikely possibility. 5 minutes later, they have all arrived and we are waiting for the Nara to show up. Then I sense the chakras of some ninja coming towards my direction. I sense 20 Jounin, 26 Chunin and 61 Genin. When Chakram arrives exactly on time, we start the journey towards the mist battlefield. The front lines are in the land of noodles or at the beaches near it. The mist ninja have an advantage because we are near a lot of water and most of them are either Kekai Genkai users or have water affinity. 3 days later, on the road we didn't meet any obstacles, we only meet some genin who had understood their position in the battlefield and they deserted. We of course noticed them hiding and took care of them. When we arrived at the camp, a genin came to greet us and ran some tests to see if we were the real ones and not some disguised enemy. Then Chunin and Genin went to get familiar with the camp, while the genin, which also included me, went to meet with the leader in the meeting tent. She then looks at me, smiles and says, "So you are my second in command, huh? You sure you are up for the challenge, brat?" I just look at her and say amusingly, "Why, of course, Tsunade." Then after some more chit-chat between me and Tsunade, we get to the main point and I start explaining the mission from the Hokage and how we need to end this war quicker. Then Tsunade started explaining that she would have already ended it if they were in any other battlefield. The terrain gives them an unfair advantage. Plus their camp is in an iceberg made by the Yuki clan of the Mist Village. Our numbers are about the same as them. But we still have the absolute survival advantage with Tsunade here. And she has a high chance of single-handedly with the help of Katsu to kill a huge chunk of them all inland. Though it would take some time. But those odds do a 180 degrees turn if we are fighting on water. Their advantage became able to keep Tsunade at bay and for her to not attack. But they also don't dare attack us on land recklessly or else they would be annihilated by Tsunade. Then Tsun says with a small smile, "Well, since you are here, Yami, or should I call you now Sky Slayer Yami or Yami of the Reed Fang?" I just say humorously, "Well, you could call my honey or darling if you want." The ninja looks surprised at our humorous relationship. But they don't really make a big deal out of it. After all, it's just an 11-year-old kid trying to be like an adult, like I was older. Well, Tsun Senju doing something with her student is well. Scandalous, though that is highly improbable. Anyway, Tsunade just smiles and says, "And you should call me mistress then." Okay, this is just getting out of hand. Can't you see that there are people around us? Well, it is entertaining and it is not my reputation who is going to get a big hit. So I just say with an embarrassed face, "Well, if you want the term mistress." All of the people in the room are shocked. Even Tsunade, who is used to me acting like this, didn't think I would really say it. She rubs her eyes and says in a tired way, "Sigh, you know kid, you are really tiring and shameless." She then gets a serious face and says, "Enough joking around, let's talk business. Now that we have 2S rank ninja here, we have a lot more options now. I have decided that we will take the initiative and attack the Mist Ninja first." She then takes out a map and puts it in a big table, points at a point in the sea and says, "This is the location of the Mist Camp in an iceberg made by the Yuki clan." But the location also changes because they move the iceberg. I will now listen to any ideas you have so we can make a plan that has the highest success. Chapter 58 War. War never changes. But I do. Tsunade then takes out a map and puts it in a big table, points at a point in the sea and says, "This is the location of the Mist Camp in an iceberg made by the Yuki clan." But the location also changes because they move the iceberg. I will now listen to any ideas you have so we can make a plan that has the highest success. There are people who give some ideas. Some of the ideas get accepted, some do not. When it comes my turn, I just say I can't really think of anything in a water biome. After all, there are not a lot of ways to be able to sneak up on them. Though I could think some plans of the but they are kind of morally wrong even for ninja. Plus I am not the leader. Tsunade is the leader and she probably won't accept my plan. Even if she did, it would ruin my image that I need for some of my plans. After all, we are really going to need a scapegoat if my plan works. And that just shows how vile it is. So anyway, we are going to attack the Mist Ninja tomorrow. 1 day later. Okay, so we are going towards the Mist Camp. I still think that this is not a smart idea. It would be better to draw them out somehow. But there are not a lot of ways an army will move. I was thinking of someone, aka me. Infiltrate the Mist Village, kidnap someone important to the Mist Camp leader and torture him and let him know about it. Also, if we are able to torture it in an easily watchable area so the commander will be able to watch it from far away to confirm the person is real and not someone transformed. Then he will come out with or without an army, but he might also not have anyone that close to him. There are also a dozen other plans, but each of them is messed up, and even those plans who are rent cruel will make Konoha appear weak, which then might entice the other countries to attack fiercely, or in the worst scenario band together in an all-out attack against Konoha. Anyway, enough thinking about plans. I need to concentrate 100% in the battle. I am now running on water towards the mist camp. 1 hour later, we can finally see the mist camp. We immediately, without even resting, go towards them, trying to take them by surprise. But as we get closer, a Hyuga ninja notifies us that the enemy seems to have noticed us. Well, that is not really a surprise, since it's hard to sneak an army of almost 2,000. Even if they are ninja. Plus we are in the sea and not exactly a lot of places to hide. Anyway, as we get closer we see some ninja form a line and start doing hand signs. Then as we get closer I see that they are still not coming to clash with us in the middle of the battlefield, and I immediately stealthily made a shadow clone and go underwater following my clone. Then as it seemed like the ninjutsu of the enemy ninja was over, we were close enough to them and we threw some projectiles towards them, but then some other mist ninja came in the front line. They used water style, water wall jutsu, and the projectiles were blocked, though some did go through. Then suddenly snow starts falling. Then Tsun throws a kunai which touches a snowfall, and the snowflake blossoms like a flower but with ice spikes all around it. Then I hear Tsunade shouts loudly, "Everyone underwater now!" All of the other ninja go underwater, even my clone. I just pop my head above water to get some air and go underwater immediately. Then some snowflakes touch the water and start freezing the water all around us. They are obviously trying to suffocate us. Then Tsun goes touches the ice, then brings his fist back and throws a puck at it, and it immediately starts to crack and it then gets destroyed. Then we all go above water and the battle starts. Tsunade goes after a feminine looking guy. I can tell by his body that he is a guy. It seems like he is the leader of his camp. Clone Poff. I just take out 2 kunai and I run wind chakra through them. I then go against then so a hail of kunais being thrown towards me, so I just throw my kunais in the air and use water style, water wall. It stops the projectiles, but then I sense some jutsu coming towards me. As soon as the water wall is down, I can see a tsunami of water coming towards me. I see the jutsu. Look at the ninja behind me, and I remember in every battlefield I used to hide like a rat. Always afraid, always weak. I hate it. Even though it was necessary. That weakness, I hate it. Not having your fate in your hands. The tsunami is coming closer. I look at it and with a smile in my face I use wind style. Chakra scalpel, and the tsunami is cut in half. Chapter 59. The realization. Clone Buff continues. The tsunami is coming closer. I look at it and with a smile in my face and I use wind style, chakra scalpel, and the tsunami is cut in half. When I came to this world, I didn't know how weakness can be this frustrating, but I need more power to become really strong. I then see Mist Ninja coming towards me. I see thousands of them, but what I am really concentrated on is the 4 ninja leading them. The special thing about them is the swords they have. They are 4 out of the 7 ninja swordsmen. The swords they are using are Kiba. Twin swords that are imbued with lightning, which increases their cutting power. They are said to be the sharpest swords ever forged. Kubikirabucho, a giant sword with a butcher-knife-like appearance. The wielder can use the semicircle on the blade to decapitate an opponent's head, hence the name. The sword has an ability to regenerate using the iron absorbed from the blood of those it cuts down. It is also called Executioner's Blade. Nuibari, a sword in the shape of a needle with a long thin wire that resembles thread attached to it, which can be used to pierce enemies and sew them together in human bundles. Shibuki, a sword that has a scroll full of explosive tags incorporated into it, lined up behind the blade, combining swordsmanship and explosions. They are definitely dangerous. The swords that is. Not the ninja using them. They are at best elite jounin, but they have become too dependent on a weapon. I can tell that much. But still I will not underestimate them. In the bingo book they all have a bounty between 50 million and 65 million yo, mostly because of their swords. But that still makes them S-rank ninja. As they get closer I give a signal to Shikamaru to take command and go to battle. As I do so I stealthily put explosive bombs all around my body. As soon as they see me they signal each other and immediately start attacking me, not leaving me time to think. As soon as they are close I boom. Yami poff, I see the clone explode. But I can still feel the ninja swordsman. I make another clone, but this one I order to go and order Shikamaru to do something for me. I then go outside of the underwater and go towards the 4 ninja swordsmen. I look at them and as soon as the smoke clears out I see them unharmed. How? I see, so they used the explosion blade to cancel out my explosion and the executioner's blade as a shield to propel them backwards. They are experienced and work good as a team, I will give them that. I take out 2 kunai and then go towards them. As soon as I get close the guy with the executioner's blade comes slashing towards me. As soon as it does I act like I am going to block it. As soon as my kunai touches his sword, it cuts right through it. Because I ran wind chakra through my kunai as soon as our blades touched. He jumped back, but I knew my wind chakra will still cut him. But my kunai is stopped by the guy with the lightning swords. I am about to slash with my other kunai, then I feel a thread wrapped around my other hand. Then as I am trapped I see the guy with the explosion sword slashing towards me. Shit. Author note cliffhanger. Then I feel a gun pressed against my head. I start sweating and say, I was just joking. Go on with the story now. Shit. I use my super strength technique and force my arm to get cut off in the wire. As I then grab my cut off arm with my teeth and jump back, I see the 4 ninja swordsmen stare at me with a little surprise. After all, an 11-year-old kid had the willpower to cut off his own arm. I understand something now. I look back at them and say to them with gratitude while smiling, I am really grateful to you guys, you made me learn something. The one with the explosion blade looks at me and says bewildered, have you gone crazy, kid? I came so close to death today. I then put my cut off arm towards my stump and think, I was really a fool to think that I could achieve my dream without giving it my all. Strength of 100 seals activate. Chapter 60. Understanding. I was really a fool to think that I could achieve my dream without giving it my all. Strength of 100 seals activate. As soon as I do that, tattoos start spreading all over my small 11-year-old body. When it is finished I look at my detached arm and see that it has connected with the stump. I squeeze my hand in a fist to test it and everything feels normal. What amazing power. I just activated creation rebirth to heal myself and the process is so quick. It really is bizarre. Though I should end this fast, after all I am spending chakra that I have in my seal plus my lifespan to reattach my arm. But I should also take this more seriously now. No joking around and getting drunk on this microscopic power of mine. I run towards the 4 ninja swordsmen and as soon as I get close the explosion sword guy attempts to blast me apart. But as soon as he does that I jump on top of his sword and use Earth style Iron Skin to protect myself from the explosion, and any internal damage is healed by creation rebirth. I then take out a kunai and am about to stab it in his eye, but it is stopped by the lightning swords guy, and the executioner's blade swordsman is about to cut me, and I don't see them, but I know there are some wires around me by the needle swordsman. Even though it seems I am in a pinch, it was all according to plan. Chain jail. Then a huge amount of chakra condenses in my back and a chain comes out of it. Then I swing the heavy looking chain around their heads. Crunch crunch crunch. 3 necks broke and twisted in weird ways. I surprisingly took out all 3 of them, as expected of a technique able to hold down the 6 tails. Though it is very chakra intensive even with my chakra stored in the seal. Now it is only the needle swordsman. He looks towards me and I thought he would be angry that I killed his comrades. But he just turned around and ran. Well, I am definitely not letting my enemies escape and come back for revenge. He knows my trump cards. He knows too much about me already. He is too dangerous. He needs to die. I pick up the 3 ninja swords and the corpses and put them all in a storage scroll and ran after him carefully not to get myself trapped. These are the times I wish I had a Sharingan or Byakugan to see this stuff. As I chase after him I keep my chain jail active just in case. There are also some mist ninja who try to get in my way but they are quickly killed. After some time the needle swordsman turned around and he raised his hand towards me with his palm open and then squeezed it into a fist. Sewing cocoon. All of a sudden thousands of wires come out from underwater and make a sphere of strings all around me and they are getting closer. Shit, this guy is the trickiest opponent I have ever fought. Then I just wrap my chain around myself. Chain jail. Cocoon. I am able to protect myself like this from the wires. Well then let's test the strength of these wires. I start forcing my chain to rip the wire and it does so quite easily. When I rip out of the cocoon I see that I am surrounded by mist ninja. I knew this would be a trap but common, you don't need to take me so seriously, after all I am just a kid. I sense around 109 chakra signatures who have surrounded me. Most of them are Chunin with some Genin in them and a couple of Jounin. This is really bad. Their numbers are too big. I will run out of stamina if I fight them all. That is if I don't get my head cut off first by a surprise attack. I don't have a giant summon to help me take care of big numbers of ninja. I just look at them and am about to use a wide range genjutsu on them all and run away, but then I get the memories of my clone who went to order Shikoromu and to tell him my strategy. Well then it seems like my luck just turned around a little. I just look at my enemies and think sinisterly, well then time to take care of some of you. Chapter 61. Not everything is going to plan. I just look at my enemies and think sinisterly, well then time to take care of you. I continue acting worried to not give off anything, then I start howling. Howl. Demonic illusion. Dog binding. Even though it is a low chakra cost genjutsu, it still takes a lot of chakra to use as a no attack. If I didn't have Tsunade's seal that stores chakra I would be exhausted already. As soon as I see that my genjutsu takes effect I throw a smoke bomb and make a run for it. I sense a couple of them break out of my genjutsu but there are still almost 100 ninja stuck in it. As I am making a run I notice the people who broke out of the genjutsu are not chasing me. I was going to stealthily take them out and then join Shikoromu to complete my plan. Damn it. I am really having a bad day. I need to kill the needle swordman. He has too much information in my skills, and a battle between ninja is a battle between information. Him spreading information about me in my bingo book page is like him making me weaker because people are going to take countermeasures against my abilities. I don't give a SHT how many Konoha ninja die, but me getting weaker is not allowed. I will abandon the plan then. I am killing the needle swordsman today no matter what. But I am in a big disadvantage of our battle being in water, and I only know a handful of water ninjutsu, and if I sneak attack them the needle swordsman definitely has string traps around himself, so I might end up ambushed instead. I wish I had a Sharingan to be able to see them. Wait, we are in the middle of the battlefield. I can get a Sharingan. This is actually the best way to get a Sharingan. Okay, I need to calm down first and plan. I look towards the mist ninja's direction and I turn around and flee from this place. I will definitely kill every one of you. For my safety and peace of mind, I then deactivate strength of 100 seals. I make another clone and he goes towards Shikoromu to give him instructions on continuation of the plan. I run towards where the Konoha and Mist Ninja are clashing. What was Tsunade thinking when she gave this order to fight in the middle of the sea against Mist Ninja? I go to the front line where the main fighting is going on. I then make a clone to protect me. I see a couple of Uchiha around the battlefield. I know most of the clan people in the battlefield. I take out some binoculars and look for a person with a Sharingan and with about the same pupils size as mine, that after I seal my Sharingan it will look natural. To complement this, I also have natural pupils eyes. After all, even if temporary, I am not having a faulty Sharingan. I find a person who fits the description. He seems about 15 years old with a one-tomo Sharingan in both eyes. Well, I can work with that. Then I use a chakra suppressing seal to hide from some Byakugan users. That means I can't use chakra externally. Still I go underwater, and as the battle is raging on, I ho under the Uchiha and just grab him, and underwater I put a senbon on his neck and I put him in a fake death state. I then drag him away from the battlefield. I then destroy the chakra suppressing seal. When I am far away from the battlefield, I meet with my clone and he nods towards me and takes him off my hands. He will take him to land and hide him in a place, and he will then dispel himself. Well then, time to complete the plan with Shikoromu. Then I go back to the battlefield and immediately channel a huge amount of chakra and howl, demonic illusion, dog binding. All of the Chunin and Genin ninja on the battlefield are paralyzed. Then as the Jounin break out on my Genjutsu, Shadow Possession Jutsu, shadows come from the depth of the sea and bind all of the moving Jounin. All of a sudden all the Konoha Jounin come to my side and we all start doing hand signs. I make 5 clones that go behind the ninja, fire style, flamethrower. As they finish that, I and my clones come forward and use wind style, great breakthrough, to fuel the flames. Even though we are on water, a tsunami of flames is created from our combination jutsu. Then I dispel my clones. The Konoha ninja immediately start killing the lucky survivors. Well, I just turned this around. I sense that some lucky ninja were able to escape. Then I look towards a certain direction. Tsunade is the fighting with the mist camp leader. Well then, chapter 62, this is teamwork. Well, I just turned this around. I sense that some lucky ninja were able to escape. Then I look towards a certain direction. Tsunade is the fighting with the mist camp leader. Well then, let's go see what is going on in there. When I arrive there, I see that one of the fighters is missing an arm. Obviously it was the feminine-looking mist camp leader, and he seems pretty exhausted too. Well, it seems like Tsunade has this in the bag, but I am not honorable enough to let it slow down my plans for even a second. I stealthily go behind the camp leader, who is distracted by Tsunade and his injuries, and I just punch him in the back of his head. Squelch. You gross, his head just popped like a balloon. Well anyway, I look towards Tsunade. Tsunade just looks back at me and says pointedly, "I had that handled. Why did you interfere?" Well, obviously I need to get something done, you blonde bimbo. Opposite of what I am thinking, I just say to her, "Well, if your pride is hurt, walk it off. We are ninja, we don't need that stuff." She just looks at me and I don't let her analyze my words further to see if I insulted her or not. I obviously did. So I just continue talking. "I need your permission to hunt down all the retreating enemies, and obviously get myself some brand new Sharingan." She then looks at me, turns around and starts running towards the Konoha camp. I follow her, and as I do so she says, "No, I need you to help me heal the injured Konoha ninja. Plus it might be a trap." I knew there was a high chance that she would refuse. Well, I guess it's time to pull out the big guns. "If you let me chase them, I can promise you I will be able to end the war with Mist within the year." She just looks at me without any of her playful attitude and says, "Seriously, how much time will you need?" 3 weeks. I answered without a beat I could handle the job at max within 6 days, but I don't know how much time I will need to get used to the Sharingan. She looks at me and says, "Make that 2 weeks. I know you like to be prepared about everything and just said 3 weeks just in case." Well, with us spending quite some time with each other, she has learned some of my quirky traits that I have. Well, more like I let her learn some. After all, if I seem perfect, that is very suspicious. Then I look at her and say again, "So is that a yes?" Sigh, "Yes, it is a yes." As soon as she says that, I sprint into the side and I go toward the direction of the mist. As soon as I am far enough, I change directions and go towards the land of noodles where our camp is. Well then, time to get some Sharingan way before plan. But it isn't really a huge change from the plan. I was still planning on getting some Sharingan, just that it was going to be later. As soon as I arrive in land, I immediately remotely cancel my clone and I get his memories of the location where he hid the Uchiha. I immediately start going there. I go to a forest and in a random place use an earth jutsu and the ground opens up and I walk on the walls and start going down while closing up the earth behind me. When I arrived at the bottom, which is quite deep, I must say, well, as expected of my clone, he takes great precautions. I then make a crude earth platform in the place of a table. Take a white cloth of a storage scroll of mine together with some surgical equipment. I put the white cloth over the table and I took out a jar with strange liquid. I then put the Uchiha on the table lying on his back. I made a clone and he started tying the Uchiha in the table with earth shackles and started putting chakra suppressing seals all over the Uchiha's body. Then he closed his eyes and kept running chakra through the seals to keep them always up, that even if the Uchiha tries to break them, he won't be able to do so because my clone has higher chakra amounts than him. While I take some of my scalpels and put a surgical mask on and order my clone to do the same, I pull out the senbon and the Uchiha and he wakes up. I also put another senbon in his lung area to stop him from making noise. He just looks at me scared with a little Uchiha pride behind his fear. Well, he definitely won't hold that pride after I am done with him. I don't really know if I can evolve my Sharingan beyond one Tomo after I take it. Kakashi was able to do so, but there were several unsolved and mysterious circ.2. instances involved in that. So I will try to evolve my Sharingan to at least 3 Tomo. How I will do that? Obviously by torturing the Uchiha. I will fully evolve his Sharingan and see if I can make him awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. I have chakra suppressing seals all over him, so he won't be able to use Amaterasu on me or something like that. Let the procedure begin. Chapter 63 Sharingan. I will fully evolve his Sharingan and see if I can make him awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. I have chakra suppressing seals all over him, so he won't be able to Amaterasu me or something like that. Let the procedure begin. 3 hours later. The 3 Tomo Sharingan has tears all over it by now. Well, he got the 3 Tomo Sharingan. He got them during the first hour of the torture. TCH. Well, I guess I should start healing him again to make sure he doesn't die. I guess I should use my last resort. I use water clone jutsu. Well, this is the only other clone technique I know. They only have 10% of my strength, so pretty useless in a fight, but I needed to use my last torture technique. I don't want to remember that. I also put a blindfold on my shadow clone, which is holding the chakra suppressing seals on the Uchiha. I turn around and after a couple of minutes, I then turn around and see the Uchiha has blood running all over his mouth. So he forced his lungs to scream and in the process destroyed them. He is gonna die choking in his own blood in a couple of seconds. But it doesn't matter, it was all worth it. In his eyes I see the Sharingan has a shuriken pattern on it. Yes, I got a Mangekyo now. Anyway, I take out his eyes and put them in a jar. Dispel my water clone and cut off the head of the Uchiha just in case. I then also dispel the shadow clone and make 2 others. I nod at them and burn the Uchiha's body, though I do keep a little of his blood in a storage scroll of mine for a project I had in mind. I then lie down on the table and one of the clones stabs me with a senbon and I am knocked out. Next time I wake up I will have a Mangekyo. 10 hours later. I wake up and I feel well rested. I probably slept around 10 hours. And I can see normally. I look at the clones who are just standing there. Then one of them said 10 hours. Okay, so that confirms it. I take out a scroll and I take out a mirror. I look into it and I see my eyes. I see the weird skin texture around my skin. There is actually a Fuinjutsu seal on my skull around my eye sockets. My eyes have their normal color towards them. I then dispel my clones and make a new one. Then I take my stuff, go above ground together with my clone and then collapse underground room. I don't get the instinctual knowledge about my Mangekyo, so I will have to test it out myself. I look in the mirror again. I run chakra towards my eyes, but as my Sharingan activates, Fuinjutsu markings appear in my skin. Well, this is unexpected, but I really won't be showing my Sharingan to anyone I won't kill. I look at my slowly rotating Tomo. I then look at my clone. Everything seems clearer and I can see the chakra in my clone. I move my hand, I see it moves in slow motion. I tell my clone to punch the air with full speed. It's still slow. I move towards my clone. It seems like I am moving too slow. I now get it why the Uchiha got arrogant. I can copy any ninjutsu and taijutsu. I can do genjutsu and only eyesight connection. I can see my enemy's next move. This is quite amazing. Still, I will need some time to get used to it. Let's try the Mangekyo now. I look towards a patch of grass and put a lot of chakra in my right eye. I have my clone with a fire sealing scroll just in case. Then suddenly my field of vision changes. UGH. I immediately fall into my knees with a hand over my eye. Wow, that is quite some pain. I look at my hand with some blood in it. So my eyes did bleed. It seems like my right eye has the ability to teleport me towards the place I am looking at. I then look at someplace else with my left eye. My field of vision changer again. So my left eye has the ability to teleport to a place I look also. So I got one when I purchased two. It definitely feels like I got scammed. 10 minutes later. Okay, so after some small tests I discovered that I am only able to use one eye to teleport. Then I have a 1-second cooldown if I want to use the same eye again. But while in the cooldown I am able to use the other eye to teleport. So it kind of covers the other's weakness. Also, to heal my Mangekyo from going blind is going to be a pain. I can figure out a way and I don't have the blindness problem yet, but still though. Now I guess it is time to give chase to the Mist Ninja. Even though they have a 10-hour head start, we will see who will win the race. I activate my 3-toe mode Sharingan. Shunshin. Chapter 64 Battle's outcome is decided before it even starts now. I guess it is time to give chase to those Mist Ninja. I'm sure that Needle Swordsman thinks himself lucky to have escaped his latter comrades' fates. How foolish. Even though they have a 10-hour head start, that is nothing to me now. This race is more like a test run for my newly acquired and evolved Sharingan. I activate my 3-toe mode Sharingan, Shunshin. Even though I can see clear as day while performing Shunshin at night and do it with pinpoint precision, there's an imbalance in my previously perfect chakra control. One that prevents me from going full speed as I have to constantly make adjustments. A foreseeable complication nonetheless. Same as with any new skill or power, I still need to get used to it in order to use it effectively in battle. Although thanks to my nigh perfect chakra control, it shouldn't take more than a few times. I knew the Sharingan was good, but not this good. 4 hours later. I've been traveling at speeds unseeable to the human eye for quite a while now. Their chakra trails start to become clearer by the second. They are close. Even though I had to stop and track their direction a couple of times, I've finally caught up to them. In water that would have been a little harder, but here in the mainland I could see their lingering chakra trails with relative ease. Now I've caught their scent too, so I am sure they are pretty close. I am officially in Mist territory now. The confrontation is imminent. I start analyzing the field in which I will fight them. One can never be too cautious when the enemy has this level of field advantage, or otherwise for that matter. The water country island closest to the land of noodles is where the battlefield lies. I had prepared for the worst and this luckily for me is not it. I move deep into enemy territory. 2 kilometers into the island, there lies the Mist military camp. I take a vantage position on top of a tree and start doing recon. The first thing to catch my attention is a makeshift earth wall surrounding the perimeter, built with justice. Its usefulness being only to alert them in case of a surprise attack and nothing else. A hidden attack anyway. They are expecting an army to come after them. I laugh at their stupidity. Without their inexhaustible water sources, they would have been annihilated long before, and the proof lies in front of me. I hear chatter and even some laughter from time to time. They are resting. Security is nowhere near as tight as one could expect from a military camp this size and so relatively close to the enemy, though I must say they are still on guard and haven't given up on their lives just yet. As I continue scouting, looking for weaknesses in the perimeter, then I barely manage to see something with my Sharingan. I see almost microscopic chakra strings around the camp. WTF. Is this how the Mist Ninja always knew when I was going to attack? I didn't think that the Mist Ninja would be able to use chakra strings this way. I was too quick to discard their cognitive abilities. TCH, I must prevent myself from underestimating my enemy again. Underestimating me was the doom of hundreds upon of poor bastards. Who is to say that I couldn't fall victim to the same mistake? Anyway, I get my head back in the game, looking even more carefully at the strings and HMPH. So that's how it's gonna be, huh? Well then, time to move. These ninjas won't die from inanition while I wait. Earth style, hiding like a mole technique. I go underground so as to not be noticed by the Mist Ninja. The perimeter was breached just like that. Their defenses still mean nothing to me in theory, but I can't afford to make that assumption before actually engaging. I made sure to readjust my calculations for this battle accordingly, just in case. I stealthily come out from under the ground. I obviously don't immediately go to kill the Needle Swordsman. After all, even with the Sharingan, I am not sure that I can take him out stealthily, and would only get myself surrounded by hundreds of ninja. Not good. I'll do it the right way. The cold-blooded way. I start off killing the weakest genin by the dozens and swiftly get to the tune-in. Some minutes and dropped bodies later, I've killed 202 ninja. As expected, it was noticed by the patrolling jonin that people were being killed, but they still didn't know my location. I remained unseen and unheard. That body count kept rising despite their efforts to find me. I'm dealing with the cannon fodder that might interfere in my fight against the Needle Swordsman. I will allow no imponderables in our duel. I start slashing away at my enemies and killing them, using a peculiar way of concealing myself by transforming into the most recent person I killed. Then going on to kill someone else, transform into him, and so on and so on. Relaying in my speed and clean kills, in 20 minutes I had killed everyone except the Needle Swordsman without allowing them any time to even know what I was doing. As I originally expected, they never stood a chance. With the help of the Sharingan, I could take care of all the minuscule details, throw in some genjutsu and like that, I'm able to kill them all. The swordsman seemed to be more concerned with setting up his string defense and preparing for the imminent fight against me, than with helping out his comrades. He probably thought himself untouchable and didn't want to risk it. I duly thank him for his cooperation. Now it's time to cash in my ch.I.P.S. and take him out. I finally reveal myself, and stand 20 meters away from him, letting my wonderful Sharingan do some intimidating for me. He tried to hide it, but he was certainly shocked to see I had it. After all, we've already fought and he identified me as Inuzuka. Not that it matters what he thinks, to be honest. He'll be dead in a few moments. We keep staring at each other. But this isn't a child's game. This is a battle between elite ninja. Right now each one is observing the other's stance, analyzing outcomes and risks, planning the next and possibly last move. That's what a ninja showdown is. All or nothing. He an advantage in this terrain because he has a wire trap shield all around him by tying it around the trees, and with the help of his sword he can control those wires with precision and speed. Terrain advantage? Now that's something new. He must also have a greatly developed calculation ability. After all, just a wrong move and he could very well cut himself to pieces. But nothing I haven't taken into consideration. I then look at all the threads and calculate a trajectory. This is so easy now. I take out a shuriken and slightly blow on its edge, to get it infused with a generous amount of wind chakra, augmenting its slashing capabilities tenfold. I throw the shuriken towards the Needle Swordsman and immediately after, I secretly throw something else, keeping it hidden inside the shadow of the shuriken. Then as the shuriken is cutting through some of his wires, suddenly, swish, a head flies into the air. Well, this certainly was anticlimactic. But well, this is life, I guess. Not a problem for me though. Thrill and excitement don't matter. Only results. Positive results. I had thrown the first shuriken with wind chakra to distract him from noticing the second shuriken, the one hidden in the shadow of the first one, which had mangled on the wires and cut his head with his own wires. Turns turns out he wasn't as good at calculations as he thought he was. Normally the chance of this happening is 0.1%. But with the Sharingan, I can turn most odds in my favor. With its prediction ability together with my knowledge of physics and reactions, I was able to make the probability of this scenario happening with 99.99% accuracy. Talk about overpowered bloodlines. I take the needle sword. And now I have 4 of the 7 mist swords. The 44 of those I've faced. I also take the swordsman's head to claim the bounty on it. Actually, scratch that. I burn the head right there. He witnessed I had the Sharingan, and that is a big no-no. One of the biggest for me right now. After doing that, I just burn down the rest of the camp and disintegrate the earth wall with a couple of wind jutsu. It wasn't even that strong. To begin with, nothing remains. I don't want or need anything from here. I especially make sure to burn the bodies so that not even a single bone gets left behind. No Edo Tensei corpse spilling my secrets now. Knowing the future is so good. I mean, not only do I know the strengths and weaknesses of some of the strongest ninja in history, but I can plan along with almost 100% accuracy of my plan succeeding. The only thing that might mess things up is that infamous butterfly effect. Not that I care about it, but that doesn't keep me from taking measures against it. Like when I destroyed the Sky Village. No need to leave anyone alive, especially the kids, to come back for revenge 10 years later. And just to be sure, I took the Zero Tails also. Once I am done with the camp, I eat some food from my storage scroll and I deactivate my Sharingan. I didn't plan to get a Sharingan so soon, but I guess it will have to do for now, and its main Shikyu ability is pretty good. For now. I will definitely change it later though. As I finish up my rations, I get up and then make way for Konoha's camp. I wonder how Tsunade will react when I show her 4 of the 7 swords of the mist. Chapter 65. Back at Konoha's camp. Chapter 65. Story by Holy Joker. Edited by Chili_dog. I get up and then make way for Konoha's camp. I wonder, what will Tsunade's reaction be when I show her 4 of the 7 swords of the mist? As I arrive at Konoha's camp, I immediately go towards the command tent in the very center of the camp. I step inside, and as soon as I enter, my eyes meet hers, Tsunade's. She's standing up, arms crossed, close to her seat at the center of the table. The one with the strategic map and .u.ments. And she is giving me that annoyed "I'm gonna make your face my punching bag" expression. Nothing unusual in her, to be honest. In a moment's notice, I have the undivided attention of every jonin in the room. I don't pay much attention to the rest and say, "What's the matter, Tsunade-sensei?" TCH. After a loud tongue CL.I.C.K.I.N.G. She just turned her head in another direction so as to not look at me. Ha ha ha, wow. She sure as hell is letting her childish side take over now. There's a sanin for ya. At the lack of an answer, one with words anyway, my gaze turns to Shikamaru as if requesting an explanation. Sigh. What a drag. It has been decided by the Hokage and the Konoha Council that Tsunade will be sent to another theater. They need her advanced medical nin skills desperately. Our front line against the Land of Lightning has suffered increasingly heavy casualties in the camp's infirmaries. Sigh. Therefore, as her second in command, naturally you are appointed as the commanding officer of the forces in the Land of Water. Oh, yes. Ha 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 ha. Everything is so going according to plan. It almost seems unfair. Almost. It was hard to keep my grin from showing up in my 11-year-old face. Finally, I have the authority and power to do some of the more complex bloodline experimentation I've been meaning to for a long time. This will greatly further my plans. But still though, taking Tsunade away from the theater, it will definitely weaken my forces. But they can't exactly let a Senju take orders from an Inuzuka. kid or otherwise. Even if I am an S-rank ninja, and no matter how they sugarcoat it, I know what they are doing. The Land of Lightning Division is constantly suffering heavy casualties, HMPH, and that is why I love politics. They are putting me to the test to see if I can replicate the feat I pulled off against the Land of Sky. Probably Danzo's idea, as I expected, although they seemed to trust my abilities enough to put a child in command of the second largest theater anyway. But the things is, that they are underestimating me just as well. Not contacting me directly as soon as I arrived at the camp. No summon delivering a message as I was en route, even ignoring my clone. No doubt, the pretension is to have Shikamaru as the one in actual command. They know him not stupid, and that he'd figure it out sooner rather than later. They are trying to pass it as a control test of my capabilities, when in reality they are putting my mask to the test. They want to see just how cunning this kiss and if I suppose a potential threat to them. Even if they tried to hide it, it has Hiru's and Sarutobi written all over it. That pipe-smoking rascal. I mean, sure, I might get all the renown, but if I don't have the power and authority, all of that doesn't matter. Fame is irrelevant to my plans, at least for now. Political scheming sure is complicated and entertaining. On a different note, looks like that Four Swordsmen of the Mist debrief is old news to them right now. I had already sent a clone with my mission report as soon as I finished cleaning out the camp remains. And while it's protocolary to be debriefed by one's dispatching officer, in this case Tsunade, it shouldn't become a problem for me later on given the circ.u.instances. This actually works great for me. The fewer questions asked, the better. They already know what I wanted them to know. The icing on the cake is that 4 swords of the mist I collected remain in my possession. Anyway, after a couple minutes worth of a somewhat awkward silence, I look at Tsunade and in a fake sad voice I break the ice with one of my patented child mask jokes. Sigh. So the student has surpassed the teacher, huh? Don't worry Tsunade. He'll never forget what you did for me once I become Hokage. Tsunade then turns to me with an even more pissed off look. Was that even possible at this point? And says, "You are really pissing me off, Yami, don't push it." I just smirk slightly, only to then get serious and say in a tone as domineering as a child's voice can allow, "I have some things I want to discuss about the new battle plan with former Commander Tsunade, in private." They just nod and comply. Now that we're all alone, I look towards Tsunade and say, "You know they are doing this to you because you didn't meet their expectations, right? TCH. I told you not to push it." Do I really look like I'm joking right now, Tsunade-sensei? Sigh. She sits down on her chair, throwing her feet over the table and bringing her hands to the back of her head. The cue of me using honorifics worked. I get what you mean, Yami. I know. It's just complicated, okay? They expect me to pull off miracles just because I am a senju. Well, I do feel sorry for you, but I need you to do me a favor. She gives a small nose exhale in amuse.e.m.e.nt and then looks at me with a mildly curious look. For my prodigious student, I guess I can. But depends on what it is. I need you to take Shikamaru with you to the front against the Cloud Village. Or else I am definitely killing him if he stays in here. A mountain can't hold 2 kings. I don't want to take the unnecessary risk of killing someone as smart as Shikamaru. He will definitely leave clues on who the murderer was. The cunning bastard. Why would you want to get rid of someone like Shikamaru? He would be a valuable asset to you and has a great head on his shoulders. I look at her with a bored look and say, "Sigh. Political schemes, Tsunade. They are trying to undermine my authority and I haven't even started." It took her a second to understand what I meant. Oh, I get it now. It won't be easy to take him away though. After all, it won't do my reputation any good if I make this decision. Well, you won't even have a reputation to worry about in the future. But I can't tell her that, so look at it this way. He'll be on your debt and you can collect whenever. It can be any favor. She looks surprised and harbors a little doubt in her eyes. After all, a favor from an S-rank ninja is not something that is given away without a good reason, even if it's limited. In this case it isn't. Of course, That would be an empty promise. She still doesn't know me well enough to know. It's not like I will keep my end of the deal if it's against my best interests, so let her think that I owe her anything she wants. I notice that she is in deep thought about this. Okay, I will get him off your back. But don't forget your promise. Excellent. Everything is falling into place, as it should. Yes, thank you. You have no idea how much this will help me. I will now begin my plan to end this war. Her eyes widen a little when she looks at me, then she says, I understand, Yami. Then she gets up and as she is leaving the tent she says, Don't make me regret this. You understand? I give her a smirk as I nod. I never break a promise, Tsunade. Tomorrow. As I wake up I dispel the clone that keeps watch while I sleep. I get dressed, and after that do my daily morning exercise. It keeps me in peak physical and mental condition, as also I mix it up with light meditation. After an hour of training, I get out and ready to say goodbye to Tsunade and the squad she's taking with her. I also make a shadow clone and order him stealthily to go back to Konoha and contact a certain Konoha council member, with utmost secrecy. After I said goodbye to Tsunade, I waited for 5 hours just to be sure. I then called someone from the torture and interrogation department and asked him, Tell me, how many prisoners do we have here? Chapter 66 Advancement. Chapter 66 Story by Holy Joker - edited by Chili_dog. I then called someone from the torture and interrogation department and asked him, Tell me, how many prisoners do we have here? Give me a full report, officer. With the characteristic expression of a torturer, one devoid of all emotion and as cold as your ex, he answers dutifully. All of our prisoners were taken to the T&I facility on the outskirts of Konoha, all except 6 Jonin. The former commander ordered us to hold them in the camp, as she pretended to use them as bait to lure in the remaining swordsmen of the mist. However, there have been no signs of enemy movement near the camp, and ever since Inuyasha-sama's assault, they have retreated even further in order to regroup. Those 6 have been forsaken by Kirigakure. I see. Anyway, do any of them possess any of the village's special bloodlines? Most notably, there is a Yuki clan member, but he is currently in a dire overall health condition and all valuable intel has already been extracted from him. Therefore, I've scheduled his execution in 4 hours. That is all Inuzuka-sama. Good job, officer. Dismissed. Hi. Well, that was certainly disappointing. I was hoping for at least a Yoton lava release user. But alas, we can't always get what we want now. Do we? I go towards my tent and get to work right away. Everything's ready to begin the construction of my own private lab at first light tomorrow. As the camp's commander, I have available to me all the space and resources necessary to build an underground lab. This way I can safely keep my most sensitive material away from prying eyes. I'll obviously set each and every kind of territory protection Fuinjutsu am able to. Can't leave my ocean of knowledge open for just anyone to swim in, not even Nananbu. This undertaking won't be a secret per se, but only the quartermaster and some camp officials know of it. Works for me. On the other hand, I'm sure the brass back in Konoha will see this as standard procedure as well. Given that I'm Tsunade's best and last student and a somewhat reputed medican in myself, they should see no problem with me looking for new and better ways of healing their soldiers. If anything, they should encourage it. They also won't expect results anytime soon, thanks to medicine in this world advancing at the speed of a crippled slug. I don't have to report to them either. They'll probably have their eyes and ears everywhere within the camp by now. But that also means I'll have tread very carefully. Even more so now than my first mask has already been seen through. Nothing I can't take measures against though. Anyway, this is the power I wanted. The power that I needed to make some real headway on my projects. Chikrama had to go and there's no doubt about it. Also, I didn't have to kill him, so that's a plus. I wouldn't want to deal with his annoyingly cunning self, yet. Dot. Dot. Time skip. 3 months later. Dot. These past few months I have spent doing a lot of research, while a shadow clone does all the tedious work of running a military campaign. I dispel the clone every night, take in all of his memories and experiences, and then make another that already has his orders for the next day. I've mastered the shadow clone jutsu at such a level that nobody has noticed the deception. As long as he doesn't get attacked, everything will continue to run smoothly, whilst the real me is attending more pressing matters than dispatching cannon fodder out to die and such. Instead, I like to focus on my experiments and research, but of course, that doesn't mean that I can just neglect my duties as commanding officer of the Mist Division. And the Shadow Clone patented method has proved to be my ace card in this affair. Excellence and discipline is my motto. I like to run a tight ship and I've done well so far, having zero tolerance for any insubordination or inefficiency. No one dares to question my authority now. Good. I intend to keep it that way. I must say, these past 3 months have been quite productive, to say the least. Most recently, I've been working with my brand new test subjects I've been kindly procured by my hardworking subordinates. I am currently going over my new taijutsu moves. My body has gotten a little stronger now as I haven't dismissed my training. Not one day. Of course, when I say going over I mean using a prisoner as my punching bag. This way, I get the most accurate data regarding my damage output, chakra and stamina consumption and replenishment rates, the effects of striking certain tenketsu chakra points, and along etc. This is formal scientific work and without precise data results, there's no point in me wasting my time with these experiments. Now, analyzing the current condition of this Ustabjnen meat bag, I start taking notes. The man isn't conscious, obviously. He is a black-haired feminine man from the Yuki clan. I have already conducted several experiments on him, so he evidently looks like a mess. 23 days of incessant physical and mental strain have rendered his already weak mind completely blank and at this point is hardly able to process the simplest of my orders. To be expected, since I have been trying different memory manipulation techniques, and additionally training my Sharingan's genjutsu capabilities on him. His body is in an emaciated state with several healed and recent fractures, muscle tears all over, bruises, and some organ damage to top it all off. To be honest, he actually went beyond my calculations and managed to stay alive for 7.2 hours longer than I had predicted. I'll make the pertinent modifications. Not my proudest piece of work, I'll admit as much, but it was a necessary one. There are many sacrifices to be made if I am to reach the apex, and his life is one that I'm willing to make. I go on with my session, putting aside my pen and notebook. Come here, number 1. He comes towards me in a strange crawling motion fitting a zombie, and as soon as he is 2 meters away from me, I cut his throat so fast that my movements couldn't have been seen by the untrained eye, putting him out of his misery. I didn't do this out of pity though, he simply is no longer useful to me. Afterward, I burn his body until nothing remains. As usual, I've implemented a crematory in the lab with an optimized exhaust system, and a chimney that remains hidden between some rocks, well beyond the camp's premises. The remaining Jonin prisoners have also seen the end of their usefulness. Their cause of death was my new taijutsu style called Death Fist. I secretly used my Sharingan to copy the basics of the Hyuga taijutsu from a scout, the Gentle Fist. Even though the Gentle Fist itself can't be used without a Byakugan, the main principle for my technique derives from it, along with a combination of the 8 inner gates technique, plus my chakra-enhanced strength technique. This particularly devastating taijutsu obliterates the tenketsu of the target with a silent chakra shockwave, effectively crippling them in the best-case scenario and killing them in a full-on direct hit. However, it is not yet battle-ready. It'll take some more trial and error in order to complete it. But the progress I've made so far is to not be disdained either. It's just a matter of time, really. On another note, I have currently stopped studying the Flying Thunder God Jutsu. The reason being that, even though I now possess all of the Uzumaki Fuin Jutsu and made substantial progress on that front as well, I've also inevitably hit a wall, and a quite considerable one at that. This is a technique that needs 100% of my attention to develop from now on, which I most certainly will eventually. I've already grasped the core principles of the technique, but now I need to develop my very own kind of technique formula to be able to teleport. This formula consists of two elements: the fingerprint, that in this case would be the Fuin Jutsu, and the ink with which to inscribe it, chakra. In theory, there wouldn't be a problem, but the thing is that the kind of Fuin Jutsu used in it is unlike any other. Anyone who tries to learn the technique has to start by creating their own Fuin Jutsu mark, one that is tuned precisely to one's chakra flow and vibration at the time of casting it. And chakra is the combination of physical and spiritual energies. In other words, that means that each technique formula is unique for each individual that casts it. It's basically tailored to a specific body, at a specific time, under specific conditions. Nigh impossible to replicate, no matter how many tests are run, at least with the current technology. So, the giant wall that stands in my way is this: not even my shadow clones have a formula 100% identical to mine. Theirs might be almost 99.99%, but they don't have a physical body that can be hurt or that needs to eat. 8 al. This becomes a problem when their Fuin Jutsu mark, the fingerprint, isn't the same, and in turn, the formula is unequivocally altered. The solution to that dilemma, however, is also the main complication for me right now. I need to study the Jutsu on my own. That means no shadow clones hack. Regrettably, given the aforementioned, I postponed it at least until the second Ninja War ends, in order to be able to study it on my own and dedicate myself fully to such endeavor. Going on with my inner monologue, I have completely unveiled the profound truths of the 8 inner gates technique, and have been trying to combine it with the creation rebirth technique. That would counteract the 8 gates weakness, the destruction of one's body inside out. Such a dreadful combination could very well become my trump card. Just remembering how Might Guy brought 6 Paths Madara to his knees when he unleashed the 8th gate, is a testament to its undeniable potential. The potential to open the 8th gate without dying or crippling my body forever. It certainly puts things into perspective. But there comes the reason why not all ninja learn the 8 gates technique. Besides the difficulty of learning how to open the gates, when even someone as untalented as Guy was able to do so, when just the first gate would already be able to help any ninja tremendously in a battle. The reason for it couldn't be more reasonable, and it is that whenever a gate opens, you can't use even the simplest of ninjutsu or genjutsu. The chakra is literally rampaging all around your body. It is statistically impossible, no matter how good the chakra control of the user is. Plus there's a high chance of it backfiring, and for the user to only be able to use a weak fireball jutsu, with the first gate open. Now imagine how it would be in the 3rd or 4th, let alone the 7th. Though this method might be impossible, there should be a way to train your body using the 8 gates. Finally, about my next course of action. During these 3 months, there have been no battles against the Mist, as they took huge losses. They lost around 30% of their army last time, and there was even a high number of Jonin casualties. There obviously have been some skirmishes though, which I naturally obliterated and even took some new test subjects. Though they also died fast, as their level was at most Chunin. Now that I've got my Sharingan 100% mastered, hell ye, I am planning on venturing into enemy territory once again. Obviously not with an army at my back, otherwise they'd notice that 100 miles away. After all, the Mist still has scouts all around. I left my second-in-command a random Jonin officer in charge, while I am away conducting my advanced reconnaissance tactics and preemptive trap setting. Also, the shadow clone I commissioned to secretly go back to Konoha and contact a certain council member, has concluded his mission satisfactorily. I asked Danzo to give me some information on the Mist and their patrol routes. I also added in some bullshitty speech about the greatness of Konoha and how we mustn't lose any more forces over a lack of preparation. Obviously, I won't be taking the safe route he graciously marked for me. Danzo is probably on my top 5 people I wouldn't trust in this world no matter what. The true objective of that meeting, however, was to get away in with Danzo. Firstly, because he has a way to get me more test subjects during peacetime, just as he did for Orochimaru in the canon. And secondly, because I also need him to vote for me when I contest for the title of Hokage. His political support is invaluable for my plans. I stealthily go out of the camp. Only the Jonin, including the brass spies, know that I am going away. And I didn't even go into much detail when I informed them of my departure. As soon as I'm a couple dozen meters outside of the camp, so it begins. My journey well into the Land of Water. Chapter 67 Land of Water? More like Land of Bloodlines. Chapter 67. Story by Holy Joker - edited by Chili_dog. As soon as I'm a couple dozen meters outside of the camp, so it begins. My journey well into the Land of Water. While on the road, I tried to organize the information I got from Danzo and combine it with my knowledge of the canon Naruto timeline. This way I can finally get a clear picture of what is the current situation on the Land of Water. So, the Land of Water has the smallest landmass of the 5 great nations. Their territory is mostly water. The county's landmass is composed of many islands, each having its own unique people and respective culture. The weather is temperate all year round and the islands are usually covered by mist. The islands themselves also feature many lakes. Little else is known all about the country, and it apparently leaves itself out of most political affairs. This is due to the fact that it is composed of vast islands relatively far from the continent containing the other 4 major countries. It doesn't come as a surprise for each small settlement to have adopted an isolationist policy regarding foreign conflicts. What it is known, however, is that the country used to be overwhelmed by wars between clans during the Warring States period. It was during this period that most of the Kekkei Genkai users and their clans earned fearful reputations as slaughterers and monsters, sometimes fighting for their own clan, sometimes selling themselves as mercenaries. Naturally, it caused many to view certain clans as harbingers of war and death. It means that Obito didn't start a civil war out of nowhere. He just gave them a little push. After all, even if the Mizukage says something like, "Hey, let's kill anyone with a Kekkei Genkai," no one is going to just say, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea." Not without a reason anyway. Also, the ninja clans who founded Kirigakure have a higher standing than the ones who were integrated after being conquered. Currently, the Mist Village in the brink of civil war. Danzo has been trying to make it happen for some time now. But the Mist Village Council and the leaders of the Land of Water are no fools. They have been sending out the clan ninja on consistently hard and even suicidal missions. All of that just to keep civil war from erupting, though that method is just a time bomb waiting to explode. The Land of Water also has a good relationship with the Land of the Sea. Eerie Shinobi take a lot of missions from there. After some time, I have arrived in the heart of the Land of Water, the main island where Kirigakure and the capital are. This is where the daimyo lives. Also, there are going to be a lot of opportunities there. I think back on the several clan compound locations on the map that Danzo prepared for me. That bastard is really useful. That is probably why the 3rd Hokage kept him around. Danzo is not afraid to get his hands dirty to get what he wants and doesn't care about his reputation. Anyway, I change my direction towards a certain clan hideout. When I arrive there, I see that the clan compound doesn't have any strong chakra signals. I know from the anime that the Kaguya clan is dumb enough to challenge the Mist Village all by itself, just to satisfy their blood. U.S.T. but to leave their clan compound almost completely unprotected. I am not nice enough to let an opportunity like this go, not when there is so much loot for the taking. 1 hour and 30 minutes later. The Kaguya clan compound is all covered in blood. Civilians, men, women, children, elderly. None were spared. They've all been killed in the most efficient way possible, their brains pierced with a senbon or throats slit with a kunai. Third person POF. In the Ingawa Japanese-style porch of the clan head's mansion, a person or what remained of it could be seen. The lifeless body nailed to the wall by dozens of senbon. There are clear signs of struggle. The cheeks slightly moistened, maybe by tears or just the night dew, and many other characteristics best left to the imagination. Right next to where the blood puddle stops its way through the wood, there's a kid of approximately 1013 years old, sitting in a lotus position on the floor, who appears to be reading some old books and scrolls. His eyes stand out in the dark, with a bloodshot color, along with strange markings on both of them. End third person POF. The person nailed to the wall used to be the wife of the clan head. I had just tortured some information out of her. I am currently studying some books about the Kaguya clan's Gekkai Genkai, Shikatsu Myaku Deadbone Pulse. It was an extremely rare and feared bloodline even within the clan itself. It was often regarded as the definitive taijutsu technique by many experts. But of course, that was without considering Kaguya's Tomogoroshi no Haikutsu murderous bone ash or the 8 inner gates technique. In any case, all of the clan's users of this Gekkai Genkai are out on the battlefield right now. Damn, talk about bad luck. I wasn't able to find even a kid with the Kaguya bloodline in the clan compound. 1 hour later. After I memorized all the techniques and information of the Kaguya clan, I made another checkup around the compound just to be sure, so as to not leave behind any loose end or the cliched 10 years later revenge kid. Just as back then with the Sky Village. No survivors. Just used my patented method of Kilobu, which stands for, kill everyone, loot anything of value and then burn whatever's left. By the way, the Sharingan is really useful. This photographic memory is one of the best abilities of the Sharingan. Even more so for someone like me. I mean sure, I might learn stuff but like every other average human, I eventually start forgetting information. But if I see something with my Sharingan I will never forget it. It makes learning things way easier. I also looted 45.000.000 from the clan's vault. Now I have a total of 967.000.000 to my name. Not bad for a kid, huh? Poof. I make 5 shadow clones. They have to burn everything here while I run away. You know I wouldn't have it any other way. After that, they will dispel themselves. In other words, a perfect mission with no evidence of my activities. Except for the massacring of hundreds of people and the destruction of an entire clan compound. Not much really. I won't linger here a second longer. After all, a fire for a ninja is just like saying, hey, I am here, come kill me please. Oh, one more thing. The information I got from the clan head's wife. The whereabouts of her husband and the Kaguya clan army. Naturally, that is my next destination. Chapter 67. The 3 is story by Holy Joker, edited by Chili_dog. After what must have mounted to the same time it used to take me to microwave some popcorn. Oh, how I miss popcorn. I finally arrived at my destination, the Kaguya clan military camp. And yes, you read that right. I said military. You see, I've been lurking in the shadows for about half an hour, not deactivating my Sharingan for even a moment. After fully mastering it, I've managed to drastically optimize its chakra consumption rates to a ridiculous amount, so I could probably use the Sharingan as indiscriminately as Itachi and not feel tired at all. Despite not being a new Uchiha, Kakashi couldn't do the same simply because he didn't have the second best chakra control of the shinobi world. My main Shikyu remains unaltered in its deteriorating effects on the user's eyes and body. Unless I get myself a pair of EMS, that's how it's gonna be, regrettably. Anyway, back to the point I was making. I've been doing standard reconnaissance of the camp, evaluating risks and such. But then I realized that this looks more like a beer festival than it looks the camp of a feared warrior clan. I mean, they've got large banquet tables with several foods, mostly meat, right next to a giant bonfire, carts with uncooked meat in some crates, and tons of barrels of beer and sake. Almost 90% of the ninja are intoxicated right now. I mean, yeah, they kinda have patrols going on. But man, this is outrageous. They don't even have a perimeter set up, just tents scattered everywhere and, may I remind you, that these people have declared war on a hidden village? I mean, WTF, this must be some kind of trap or something. Right? Sigh. The mist camp I infiltrated had a similar vibe, with people celebrating and whatnot, but this is on a whole other level. They at least had a wall and weren't as close to their enemy. Sigh. These Kigaya bunch, I tell you. Besides being ugly as FCK, they are also way too stupid, even for muscle brain standards. No wonder they got exterminated in the canon. Hey, now that I think about it, it doesn't really matter. They're living on borrowed time. Their people have just been exterminated. Their compound burned to less than ashes. And they don't even know it. Let them have their drinks and delicious meat. Maybe it's for the better. They get to enjoy their last moments on this accursed world of shinobi. A privilege that not everybody has. At any rate, I think we can finally get back to my sitrep. So, I've calculated their numbers using my enhanced Inuzuka senses and the Sharingan, with 100% accuracy. There are 284 ninjas scattered around the camp, with varying chakra amounts. 51 of them have Jonin level chakra. Nevertheless, Jonin level chakra doesn't mean they are all Jonin level per se. But still, no matter how much I may look down on these savages, I do. A lot am also not willing to compromise the mission for anything. Nope, not happening. I'll make this another flawless mission on my personal record. In any case, it's time I go back to what I do best, hide for indefinite amounts of time while analyzing stuff, calculating stuff and planning even more stuff. That's my ninja way, I guess. After another hour of doing what I do best, I have identified the clan head's tent. It's basically the same as any other tent, so it was truly harder to find than your average command tent. Maybe they were not so irredeemably stupid after all. I also made sure that this wasn't a trap and memorized their patrolling itinerary, if you could call it that anyway. That was the easy part, seeing as there are so few ninja on actual guard duties. I don't have much nighttime left, and I've got my targets identified. Not wasting any more time, I proceed to make my move. Firstly, I sneak close to one of the patrolling ninja. I'm already relatively close to the camp, so it takes me a moment to reach him. Just as he makes a turn around a shadowy corner next to what appears to be the armory, unguarded by the way, I use my patented Senbontoth back off the knock technique with surgical precision. This knocks him out cold and without any noise, as I prudently grab the unconscious body as it collapses. Then I make a shadow clone that instantly transforms into the ninja I just took out. The clone resumes the ninja's patrol in his stead. Following that, I take the unconscious ninja further into the darkness of the forest and tie him up with some chains and put a gag on his mouth that I took out from a storage scroll. Then I carefully pull out the senbon off his neck. His muscles spasm a bit, whilst he instinctively tries to recover, making some muffled groans. I immediately force open his eyes and give them a death stare with both of my Sharingan. It's time I put my first original Sharingan skill to use. This one, I've been working on for quite some time, and have finally perfected it barely a couple of hours ago. It was with the clan head's wife actually. I didn't just torture her for the fun of it when I could've just used my hard-earned Sharingan to get any valuable information. You see, I was actually taking the time to make the most of my somewhat disappointing visit to the Kaguya clan compound. Yes, I worked on her since she had an incredibly strong mind for a civilian that allowed me to play for a bit with all kinds of mental and physical pain, all to get the exact formula and translate the results into a master genjutsu that would put your average Uchiha to shame. That was also the first in-depth field experiment I have conducted, and it was quite efficient as well since it bore fruit only 38 minutes in. Now, what is that precious technique which I have developed, you may be asking yourself? Well, that is or just memory extraction jutsu for short. As I delve into his mind, the ninja's eyes gain a noticeably hollow look that Yandere going Turkali look. This genjutsu is used to break the will of the captured target, to make them give as much information as possible. And that's where the similarities with other interrogation-type genjutsus end. You see, this a perfect hybrid of the most powerful interrogation techniques of the shinobi world, the Yamanaka clan's mind probe technique and the Sharingan interrogation genjutsu. The first one I learned from a member of the T&I force on my camp, the one that brought me the test subjects. Using my Prixie clone as bait, I managed to copy his clan's secret technique when the clone accidentally mentioned having created a newer rank jutsu, and faked regret after revealing that secret. I knew he wouldn't resist the idea of probing the mind of his superior for his secret technique. Oh, the irony. In the end, what he found was images of me having dinner with Tsunade while she demanded the waiter to bring her more sake. His expression afterward, a mix of cringe, anger, and shame. For the usually cold ace T&I agent, it was certainly priceless, as was the technique I obtained, unmistakably. The second component technique doesn't really need an explanation, does it? Now, onto what this master interrogation technique does. It's basically breaching the target's mind with such a powerful and yet simple genjutsu, that its defenses are not able to react in time, giving me full access to my target's mind. It's like shooting a catapult boulder through a gateway before the gates can be closed. Simple in theory but exceedingly effective. I can then freely browse through the target's entire memories, not just what he's thinking at the moment, and take whatever memories I want for myself. Like copying a file from a PC into a pen drive, it allows me to obtain reliable and clear information, which I can access at any time with my Sharingan's photographic memory. No bloody mess, no interrogation nonsense, and it's also time efficient since time inside the victim's mind elapses at 5% of the real time. It almost sounds too good to be true. But of course, it isn't too good. I mean, this technique has a fatal weakness. If the target has a strong enough will or countermeasures against genjutsu, the technique is rendered effectively useless. Why? Because I risk it backfiring on me. And you know what that would mean. I would be utterly and royally effed. Therefore, if the target starts to resist it, I would have to employ other techniques. And that would probably end up with the target's brain becoming a useless lump of tissue. Genjutsu on top of genjutsu, it's just nasty. Consequently, I have to be extremely careful with whom I use the technique on. The good news is, most ninja below Jonin level, and maybe even a few Jonin, are in the necessary mental strength range for my master technique to work appropriately. It is kinda overpowered. But you cannot say that I haven't spilled blood, sweat and tears in developing it. Back to what's happening with the poor bastard and his hollow eyes. I chose this ninja for two reasons. First, he's barely at Chunin level from what I gathered. His reaching this level is nothing short of a miracle, given his early 30s appearance. The second reason is that I noticed during my reconnaissance that he's profoundly insecure, from things like not looking at his peers in the eye, fidgeting when talking, to the way he walks, etc. Normally I'd run many more tests before actually using a new technique on the field. But the risk of failing against such a weak individual is negligible. And then my father Sniff never acknowledged me Sniff as his son, just because my mother was a servant. Since then, everyone on the clan looks down on me. Plus I am weak and all that. Sniff. Okay. Damn. The dude W.H.I.N.ed about his pathetic life to me, thinking it was all some kind of dream, and that I was his spiritual guide or some SHT. Turns out that if the target has an extremely weak mind, he may be called directly into his mindscape and talk to me free of inhibitions. Although in this particular case, it was mostly a pain in the SS. Only after 52 minutes 2.6 minutes real time has he finished telling me his whole life story. I only bore with it because of the next part of my plan. After the substrate time is over, I end the technique, only to knock him out again and making a clone to watch over him. With that taken care of, I can see my other transformed clone on the distance doing some patrolling. I rush towards my clone, dispelling him in an instant, and at the same time, I transform into the patrolling ninja. Then I take out a scroll and go towards the clan head's tent. I run towards the tent's entrance from the other end of the camp, guarding it while having a few drinks. There are two middle-aged guards. As drunk as they are, both have Jonin level chakra and most definitely are Jonin level per se. I don't let my guard down. And now comes the reason why I didn't just take that Chunin's memories. I wanted to experience firsthand how he interacted with others, to correctly impersonate him. Time to get into character. I started to act nervous and fidget. Excuse me Gamai-sama, Maru-sama too. They look at me like I am trash with an eyebrow raised and a smirk. Spit it out brat, what do ya wanna say? Says the one on the left. The other one laughs, only to add, well, he gonna be spitting something to his teeth, if he doesn't start talking in the next 5 seconds. Wow. Really funny guys. Arrogant drunkards like you are only any good as lab rats. Still, I keep on my wimp mask. Yes sir. Miss Yukitsuma has sent a message to be delivered directly to the clan head. The envoy was injured, so I sent him directly to the medic's tent. They just look at me. Come on now, I'm ready. Ask me questions. I have prepared an answer to all of them, even the ones of why would someone even give me the message if it was meant to be delivered directly to the clan head. I even know the answers to personal questions if they ask me. Then they look at me seriously. Then, go inside. Now. Wait, what? This sounds suspicious as hell. What the hell? I memorized that guy's whole life story for nothing. And I can't ever forget that SHT because I used the Sharingan to memorize everything he said. FCK. Despite my annoyance, I keep my act going. Yes, sir. As soon as I get inside the tent, I see the clan head. He has a big build with black hair and a scruffy goatee on his face. He is sitting in a cross-legged position on the ground with a Japanese lotable in front of him and a half-filled bottle of sake on it. Putting down an empty small cup on the table, a questioning look is drawn on his slightly blushed face. As he turns to me, I promptly bow down to hide my face from him and I secretly activate my Sharingan. I also extend the scroll I had on my hands towards him in an obeisant manner. Kimaru-sama, the Mizukage-sama has sent an urgent message for your eyes only. He rudely takes the scroll away from my fingers, and as he's opening it, his eyes widen in shock. Indeed, I have done with his clan as I willed, essentially unopposed. This time with my patented method of espionage. The three is, infiltrate, interrogate and impersonate. He looks at me with a look that reveals his futile realization of what has transpired. Anger, impotence, despair. Even a hint of sadness. He looks at me like he's about to say something, probably his last words. Or perhaps. But then his gaze helplessly shifts to my bloodshot eyes. That realization came all too late. As if those spinning shapes were singing to him. Dot. 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 Chapter 68 Wrapping Things Up. Story by Holy Joker, edited by Chili_dog. Dot. 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 As soon as he is in my genjutsu, I knock him out with the usual senbon to the vital points in the neck. This time I use 8 of them, just to be sure. After all, people with the Shikatsu bloodline in the Naruto anime are said to have a different body structure from normal humans. Also, I lay him on the ground and pull up his shirt to expose his stomach. I run chakra through my fingertips and jam them against his stomach. I make his chakra go haywire. Well, he will be out of commission for some time now. A dark sealing formula appears in his stomach. I could have used some more dangerous seal, or test some self-made seals, but I don't want to hurt my precious test subject. At least, not yet. I then put the leader on the side of the tent and cover him with a blanket and a little dirt under the blanket to the side, to not make it look like a body. Also on top of it, I put a camouflage genjutsu on it, just to be sure. I then transformed into the leader and made a clone that transforms into the wimpy guy I impersonated to get in the tent. Dot. Dot. Then I order my clone to go outside and act like the wimpy guy to not raise any suspicion. After waiting for about 10 minutes just to be sure everything is in place and no one suspects anything, I then go outside and I order my guards, gather all of the ninja. The situation has changed. The Mizukage has sent word of an emergency. They bow down. Hi, Kimuru-sama. They both answer at the unison. Then they immediately go to notify the other clan members. As they do that, I go inside the tent again and make 10 clones. They know what they have to do. They immediately start using earth jutsus to go underground. Dot. 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 Every minute after that, I made 10 shadow clones and started spreading them underground. I had to start drawing chakra from my strength of 100 seal to make more clones. Currently, my natural chakra levels are only around elite Jonin level, but with my seal I store as much chakra as I can in there, whenever I am not in a combat situation. I also ordered some of my clones to band together and replace all of the genin in the medic's tent. After all, I need to keep the scheme going. At least for a little more. Though I could probably make a couple of thousand shadow clones if I used all of my chakra from the seal. That would be an incredibly inefficient use of chakra. But I can still definitely say that I have one of the biggest chakra availability in the Naruto world at the moment. Dot. After I make 100 clones, 50 of which are underground while the others are hidden on trees and bushes. The camp is surrounded. No one is from here escaping today. Dot. 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 Then after I sense that all of the chakra signatures in the camp are in one place, I go outside of my tent transformed as the leader. I also see my clone transformed as the wimpy guy in there. Well then, time for some wordplay. I put up my cold mask on and plan what I am going to say. I think back on all their traditions and such. All of them are looking towards me in expectation. My clansmen, my brothers, I have some grave news for you all. The Mizukage has just given me a message. There has been an attack on our clan's compound. They are all shocked. What? How is this possible? An enemy village attack US! Exclamation mark. It must be those damn council members in Kirigakure. It must be a ruse. While most of them are panicking and screaming at each other, I signal my clones. Boom 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 boom. They immediately come from underground and attack all of the Jonin individuals. 15 of them fall down, knocked out. Soon all of the others are running in different directions. Howl. A howl is heard. All of the genin and chunin the jonin are stopped for a second before they can break out of it, and another 5 are captured. Then as the other 30 jonin are getting away, I give another signal to my clones, and suddenly as the jonin are about to reach outside of the camp perimeter, a transparent purple barrier is formed around the camp. Group up, don't let them take you by surprise. I order them loudly. I say that to all of the Jonin. They listen to me as I am still transformed as the leader, and then they are all grouped around me. I immediately take a small round ball at the size of my palm and secretly crush it. I hold my breath and 16 other Jonin fall. That was invisible and odorless paralysis poison. Even though it seems only the ones closest to me got knocked out, the other 14 immediately get away from me and look at me suspiciously. Well, now they are on their guard. Still kind of late though. What have you done to our leader, and who are you? I act like I don't even take them seriously. I take out and crush another ball that nullified the poison in the air. Even though I have developed a resistance to this type of poison, this is a poison I made myself in order to take out ninja, especially ones with weird bodies. That means that even with my resistance I can get dizzy from it. I look at them as if they were just prey. It manages to unnerve them even further. Only the ones close to me got knocked out. The Kaguya clan truly has a peculiar anatomy. They look like rabid beasts ready to strike at any moment. What kind of trash village are you from, stranger? Exclamation mark. I don't even answer. No need to talk with an enemy opponent if it gives you no advantage. Also, it seems like this identity is no longer useful. Poof. I undo the transformation. And I show them my real form, an 11-year-old kid. Although, I noticed that this time my opponents didn't get distracted. Oh well. They are not Jonin for nothing. 4 silver chains come from my back. It was instinctual for them to look at my chains for a split second. In that second I activated my Sharingan, and when some of them looked back at my eyes, 10 of them are caught into it. The others are about to help them break out of my genjutsu. But my chains immediately attack them, and they dodged. With only 4 left now, they are easy prey. They have all got some bone swords on their hands. They should be good at taijutsu then. But I won't fight in their strong point, even if I know that I could beat them with my super strength. 9 clones appear. They go to handle the 3 of them. 1 of them against 3 of my clones, and the last of them versus myself. My opponent is also looking at my feet and no longer looking me in the eyes now. HMPH. It doesn't matter. I immediately appear behind my opponent. I stab a senbon on his spine and paralyze him instantly. I look at my other opponents. They are now all taken care of as well. Good. Gather all of the bodies, and after we go far enough, 2 of you burn the place to the ground. I want no witnesses. No evidence. The clones simply nod. My clones cancel the barrier and seals that stopped any chakra leaking out to signify that a battle was going on in here. I then lifted the genjutsu that my clones had around here that made it look like nothing is going on. Dot. 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 After 3 hours everything is ready. It seems like even amongst the fighters of the Kaguya clan only 49 people had a Shikatsu bloodline. Therefore, I killed the others who had nothing special about them, mainly just denser bones than normal, and put them in storage scrolls. I then killed 24 of the 49 Shikatsu users. After all 49 of them, should they manage to escape and sneak attack me somehow, then they become dangerous. I seal all of the dead bodies of the Shikatsu users in another scroll and put the scrolls back in my pouch. Then, as I have all of the unconscious Shikatsu users' bodies ready with my clones and am about to leave. At the edge of my chakra senses 100 meters I can sense a vaguely strong chakra. Well, time to get out of here. Because of my paranoia, I always kept my Sharingan active. The next second, from 100 meters away, I sense the huge chakra right next to me. It's coming. Ironic. Same as the clan leader. That realization came too late for me. Lariat. Chapter 69. Title: Almighty A. The Third Reikage. Story by Holy Joker. Edited by Chili_dog. Lariat. I immediately tried to jump backward. Crack. I can feel my neck getting slashed and broken. Boom. I got thrown on the ground and a crater is formed all around me. I can feel blood bursting out of my neck. The only thing holding my head together with my body is my spine. I can't even move my body below my neck anymore as the lighting running through my system has temporarily paralyzed me. I hope this can heal my injuries. Come on please. I don't want to die. I am scared. SHT. The flesh is too far apart. ITS not healing. FCK. Okay, calm down. I extend chakra strings from my head and bring the separated flesh on my neck closer together. My attacker is being held back by my clones. But they are getting destroyed? In about 2 seconds and he already has destroyed half of them. When I get the memories from my clones, I immediately recognize my attacker. He was a tall, dark-skinned man with a large muscular and well-defined build. He had a full head of white hair that flowed into his back along with a long beard. He had unusual eyes, which had green irids, darks clear, and no pupils. His face has pronounced cheekbones and tear troughs under his eyes, and a prominent crease across his forehead with a mole above his right eyebrow. His top lip also had a darker pigmentation than the bottom one. His canine teeth were also slightly elongated. He has the kanji for lightning tattooed on his right shoulder. He also had a lightning bolt-shaped scar that runs across the right side of his chest. There's no doubt about it. It is THE3RD Reikage. Then I feel the ground under me shift a little. I panic, but when I notice the 2 chakra signatures under me I relax. Crack. 2 of my shadow clones come from underground and take me below the ground. Then they start running away from there. Now that I am safe, or I need to think of a plan. When the 3rd Reikage appeared far away within my range of detection, he didn't stop to look for me. He just charged. So the most likely conclusion is that he had a long-distance sensor with him. And a good one probably, because why didn't the Reikage attack my other 100 clones? The most probable answer is because the sensor is able to sense which is a clone or which one is not. I need to run away now. Since once he meets with the Reikage, I am a dead man. After almost 4 minutes my neck is all healed. But even with the healing, I have a huge scar surrounding my neck. Boom. I hear the Reikage attacking the earth on the surface. He knows that I probably went into hiding underground. I am having the 2 of my clones fix my arteries and vocal cords, or I won't be able to talk for the rest of my life. Even creation rebirth can't perfectly fix an almost cut off head with lightning running through my body. FCK. I was so close to dying. If I hadn't jumped back to lessen the impact, my head would have been separated from my shoulders and I would have died. After healing me, I have ordered my last 2 clones to take out the last members of the Kaguya clan. It's a shame that I wouldn't be able to have them as test subjects, but I can't let that uncertainty in my plan live. No loose ends. Boom. The Reikage is still rampaging about. But I need to first wait for the sensor to meet up with the Reikage and then kill the sensor to escape. Because even if I escape now, they would follow me anyhow. After all, even after almost 10 minutes since I disappeared underground, he hasn't entered my chakra sensing range. For a ninja traveling at that speed, it must mean that the sensor has a detection range between 500 and 10 kilometers. That is crazy. I don't know anyone even in Konoha who has that type of range. The longest I know is the Yamanaka clan head, who is said to have a sensing range of 3 kilometers. But I know with the Reikage here the chances of me killing the sensor are almost 0. Also, there might be other ninjas with the sensor, then my chances of getting out of this alive become 0% with a 100% chance of death. If I travel underground with an earth jutsu, I will be too slow to escape. I need to get on the surface and somehow run away from the Reikage. Now. Chapter 70 Just a Bad Day. Chapter 71 Story by Holy Joker, edited by Chili_dog. If I travel underground with an earth jutsu, I will be too slow to escape. I need to get on the surface and then somehow run away from the Reikage. Now, I make 50 clones and they know what to do. It seems like I need to make sure my plan goes 100% accurately in order for me to survive. I wait for about 10 minutes. When I go outside of the hiding spot, I immediately sense the Reikage come for me. I just look towards a mountain nearby. My Sharingan starts to change shape. As soon as I see that my surroundings have changed, I sense the Reikage hastily following me. Even with the extreme pain that comes with using the Mangekyo Sharingan, as soon as he is an arm's length away from me, I just mentally smirk. All according to plan. Boom. Silver chains with Fuinjutsu in them come out of the ground. I point my palm towards the Reikage and make it into a fist. The chain Fuinjutsu that he found in the ruins of Uashigakure. The chains came from his clones. Chains start to trap him. A couple of them are broken, but with so many chains, no matter how strong the Reikage is, unless he is at Madara level, he will be restrained. First, his right foot gets entangled in one chain and then the other chains swarm up both his legs like serpents. He's imprisoned now. My clones are still channeling chakra through them, and yet it remains quite hard to hold him for long. Plus he saw my Sharingan already. So I've got to kill him. The only jutsu in my arsenal with even the slightest chance to injure the Reikage is my wind-style chakra scapels, but that would mean that I would have to beat melee distance to the Reikage to even be able to connect with the jutsu, and that would be a very bad decision that I am not dumb enough to take. Besides, that would only deal some moderate cuts to the Reikage. It would take a lot more of those to cause him to bleed out. But I have a better idea. I then perform two-hand sings. Quickly, the earth starts to suck in the cocoon of chains in the muddy, watery quicksand. Well then, let's see how long it will take for him to suffocate underground. As soon as I do that, I sense a dozen of chakra signatures enter my sensing range. FCK me. This F-King day has been F-King terrible. One amongst the ninja I detect even has a strong signature, and I would guess that he might be in rank. All of the others are no slouches either, with everyone being at least Jonin level. My levels of chakra for the first time in a long time have started to feel extremely low, and that's taking into account the meager amount of chakra left in my seal. But I know that I can still take them on. I look at the ground under which the Reikage is suffocating to death. I can sense that monster thrashing against the chains that can hold down tailed beasts. And it seems like he is hitting their weak points. What a damn monster. 50 of my clones using a tailed beast restriction type of sealing, and he can still manage to move around. He can actually do a lot more than move, as I have a suspicion that he might break out of them before he suffocates. Well damn. I guess I better take care of the Jonin and rank before that happens, or at least take care of the sensor. Otherwise, I will endlessly be pursued until I run out of stamina or I collapse from the lack of sleep. So killing the sensor is the safer choice. Just as I am about to go towards them, boom, the earth behind me explodes. I immediately turn around and see a familiar figure. What the FCK? He broke out so fast. Blitz. I see him coming towards me using my Sharingan, which then morphs into a shuriken shape. He has his ultimate technique pointed towards me. I can see he is aiming for my head. He wants to finish me off, this bastard. I immediately appear below his outstretched arm. I look at his elbow and calculate something with the help of my Sharingan. I slam a Rasengan into his elbow in an uppercut move. His arm changes its trajectory, and just as it's about to hit his lighting scar in his chest, suddenly, his hand stops midway and changes direction. He's incredibly strong. WTF, how did Naruto made this work? F-King plot armor. And it comes back to hit my head. Damn it. As a last resort, I have to meet his technique head, launching a punch with my right hand. All the energy, chakra, stamina and weight verticals left in every cell in my body, supercharging it into an attack 10x times stronger than one Tsunade level punch. Boom! The Raikage gets knocked back with immense speed and is sent flying, crashing into a tree. This might seem like I won the exchange, but I then look down at my right arm, or rather, the shallow stump that is in its former place now. My arm was completely obliterated by the power bout. Chapter 71 The Only Way Out Story by Holy Joker, edited by Chili_dog. I look at my stump. I now have for an arm. Damn it! I can't even move from the lightning running through my body. I can feel the cold grip of fear grab my heart. My body is in a state of panic. Calm down. I need to run away now, or I am going to die. Come and think. My Mangekyo ability is amazing at running away, while the Raikage is momentarily a distance away from me. I got it. I extend one chakra string from my left hand and grab a stone, and like a slingshot, it shoots into the air. My Mangekyo looks at the stone that is shot up. Swish. I am teleported to it. This should be a distance where he probably can't jump to. I immediately start to fall together with the stone. I then run wind chakra through my body to repel the lighting that is paralyzing my body. In 2 seconds, wind chakra as the counter to lighting, it repels it. I can feel the pain wreck in my brain like it is being punctured by 100 needles. I can turn around and look at where I see the Raikage calmly looking at me. Damn. I can see that he was not hurt by my last all-out attack. Okay, then I need to run away now. I grab the same stone again and throw it forward again, and this time even higher in the air. Whoosh. Now I am in such a height that he definitely can't jump to me. I can even barely sense him anymore. That is how high I am, so it should be around 80 meters 260 to teleport to it. I look at the sky and see if I can spot any clouds. Damn. It is also a clear day, so I can't hide in the clouds. Fooky. Anyway, this teleportation ability can only teleport me to something that I can see clearly, and with my Sharingan I can see stuff from far away. That is if my vision hadn't started already getting a little blurry. As of lately, my creation rebirth has been halting the deterioration of my eyes by a great deal. But I have been using it a lot lately. Swoosh. Again I teleport to the stone. I grab it again and I can sense the Raikage hot on my tail. He is following me, but let's try this. I throw my stone again. This time I throw it in a straight line. Swoosh. I am temporarily out of the Raikage's sight. With my one hand, I make the tiger hand sign, poof, and a shadow clone appears next to me. SHT. The chakra in my seal is almost all gone. Then I make another hand sign. Immediately my body gains a see-through cover even while falling. I really should be glad that I am so paranoid and mastered most of my critical life-saving jutsus to be able to do them with only one hand sign. I then look in a far-away place in a tree, Fosh, and I am immediately teleported there. Because the Raikage doesn't have a chakra sensing ability, I should able to slip right past him, as he comes closer to my place while following my clone. Okay, I need to calm my heart. I do that by putting chakra pressure in it and clogging my blood vessels to stop them from moving and giving out any signs of a living being. I can only hold this state for 1 minute at most. I can sense the Raikage is getting closer. I can hear lightning crackling. Swoosh. He doesn't seem to notice and still goes after my clone. He is 50 meters away. Yes. After he is out of my sensing range. Sigh. I let out a sigh of relief. I am almost about to cry from happiness. That is if I was dumb enough to waste time doing that. At last, I finally escaped him temporarily. That was risky, but the thing paid off. Now I have a little bit of leverage to move around. I can sense that the sensor squad with the 10 Jounin and S-class ninja is coming towards me. I wonder which one of them is the sensor. I had my clone run the opposite direction to the sensor team so they won't be able to catch up with the Raikage's speed. Then they shouldn't be able to meet up until the Raikage destroys my clone. I also know what I did wrong during this exchange. FCK. I shouldn't have gotten arrogant. I shouldn't have tried to take on the Raikage. Did my recent power jump to my head? Did I think that I could hold someone who would need to have at least 2 strong S ranks to hold him back? I should have taken my chances and escaped immediately. I should have taken the risk of being hunted down. That almost cost me my life. Damn it. I look at my stump where my arm used to be. At least I must get rid of the sensor. If I know one thing about long-distance sensors is that their close-distance sensing ability is very blurry. Even Minato, who is also a long-distance sensor, has to use a technique from the second Hokage. He puts a finger in the ground and sends a chakra pulse so he can sense any living being in the perimeter. Anyway, I need to go and kill the sensor at all costs. I know what happens when a shadow clone uses the Mangekyou Sharingan until it goes blind. I will also lose my light. I will become blind and lose my Sharingan and Mangekyou Sharingan as soon as my clone is destroyed. This is a weakness that the so-called experience of the shadow clone brings. It will bring me back a huge amount of pain too. And also with the Raikage as his opponent, I would give my clone at best 34 minutes until it goes blind from Mangekyou overuse and can no longer use his ability, and then the Raikage destroy it and he will figure out what is going on. By that time I need to have finished my objective and be far, very far away from here. This is the only way out. Chapter 72 Begging for Life. Yami immediately starts going towards the sensor team at his top speed. Though he noticed that his balance is off a little. It seems like I will need to master this SHT real quick. After all, there is an S-class and 10 Jounin ninja that I am going to fight against. They cannot be underestimated, especially now that I am weakened so much. When I arrive at their destination in around 7 seconds, I see 10 ninja with Jounin level chakra and another one who I knew was S-class. I hide in the trees and look for the sensor in their midst. No one seems to be using any sensor techniques. I can see that with my Sharingan. They also seem to be acting strange. I can pick that up in their body language. Aha, I get it now. They already know that I am here and are trying to lure me in a false sense of security. Well then, I make a tiger hand sign. Poof, a shadow clone appears next to me. Now all of my chakra from my seal is gone, so I only have my natural chakra amount. Damn, I haven't run out of chakra in a long time. Since I know that I will go blind anyway, then I better use these eyes as much as I can. It's truly a shame I never figured out how to use Suzu, though I better be careful. Usually I am not worried about the chakra consumption of the Mangekyou ability, but now I still need to not accidentally pass out from chakra exhaustion. As soon as I see that they already have noticed me, I order my clone to stay back while I attack them. I also have an absolute advantage over them. They don't know any of my abilities. Then I take out a scroll and, poof, a giant blade comes out. This is the explosion blade, one of the 4 blades that I stole from the 4 ninja swordsmen that I killed. I then pick up the huge sword. I bet that I look ridiculous with this sword. A one-armed 11-years-old kid with blood all over his clothes and a huge sword on his remaining hand. I look at the middle of their formation. Immediately I appear in the middle of the formation, and before they have even a chance to be shocked, I attack the 3 Jounin who are closest together. Boom! The explosion hits them. I immediately sensed 2 chakra signatures disappeared, so they are probably dead. And the last one seems heavily injured. But I didn't stop though. With the help of my first explosion, I propelled myself towards another Jounin and I swing the sword to attack him. Lava style. Rubber wall. Boom! My sword then hits something bouncy. TCH, it was blocked by a rubber-like substance. I look towards the S-class ninja. He is the one who used rubber to block my attack and protected his ally from death. I need to end this fast. Raikage Poff, following the kid with the strange ability to teleport wasn't honorable. This war was a mess ever since it begun. Killing such a talented kid is a shame. If only he was born in my village. Well, there is no use trying to think any more about this. It also seems like the teleportation part of his ability comes from his eyes. Third Poff. In about 4 minutes later the clone starts falling from the sky. The Raikage immediately follows him. The clone extends some chakra strings from his hands to tie around the trees to stop his fall. And soon the Raikage appears in front of the clone and is about to attack him, but then the clone bows down with his head touching the ground. Please let me live, Raikage-sama. Immediately the Raikage's face morphs into a frown of disappointment. After all, he thought that at least the kid would have a little dignity. But even then he is a ninja. So the third Raikage can only suppress his feelings and try to get some information from the kid. After some thought the Raikage asks Yami clone, "What can you give me, kid?" The Raikage asks Yami with a cold look. After all, he can kill the kid whenever he wants. I holds all of the cards. I will still kill but he will have to wait if the kid has any useful information. As soon as I notice that the kid is lying, I will kill him. Yami looks at the Raikage in the eyes. The Raikage can see two hollow eyes staring back at him. Like a mist in front of Yami's original eyes, who had a pure black color, they now have a gray color. The kid is blind. So that teleportation ability of his did have a drawback. I know all of the current S-rank ninja placements, together with me being one of the best medical ninjutsu. If you take me to, the Raikage immediately gets a suspicious look on his face. He is just saying non-specific stuff, so he is trying to buy time. I already know how troublesome he can be, so, boom. The Raikage immediately punches Yami's head off his body, and just then the Raikage's eyes widen. Poof! Yami bursts into smoke. Chapter 73. The third Raikage's promise. When the Raikage sees that it was a clone, he immediately looks around for a sneak attack or something of the sort, but then, the kid is sneaky, he shouldn't be as oblivious as to attack head-on. Is he hiding underground again? Or maybe in the sky? Did he transform into a nearby object? Raikage Poff. I could use a lighting sensory technique that senses chakra signatures 50 meters around me, but I would have to drop the lighting cloak, and I would have to be a special kind of stupid to make such a fatal mistake against an enemy like this. The kid is young and small, but very dangerous. I had heard about him, a true S-class ninja from such a young age, but he is definitely more dangerous, because even since the beginning of the fight I never underestimated him and went 100% from the beginning. But where is that kid? He is a sensor, so, wait, don't tell me. Fosh. I immediately start retracing my steps and running back where I came from. That little brat, he was after my team all along. After 20 seconds while running back on where I came from, I notice something in front of me. Damn it. There are mutilated body parts everywhere. Some even pierced on the trees. These are my team. Even with all of the rage inside of me, my face does not show any emotion. My brain is 100% alert to my surroundings, waiting for a sneak attack, a trap. I was expecting chains to come from underground and surround me at any second. Those things were dangerous, so I need to be careful. Then, after looking at the blood of my comrades, my close friends, they were my chosen squad, that I would entrust my life to them. If only I had noticed it earlier. Then with a calm voice I say, "Anyone alive?" When no one answers. Cough. As soon as I heard the cough, I went to the side of my teammate. He had his hands and legs, both of which were bent in ways that they were not meant to bend. Immediately as soon as I saw his face, I knew who it was. It was one of my best friends, Dodai. I went towards him carefully in case it was a trap. But when I looked at my friend's mouth area, I noticed that even his tongue was cut off. I couldn't handle the guilt anymore, and I immediately went to his side. His face was a little bloody and messed up. I know the ruthlessness of that kid. Did he leave him alive to hold me back on not giving chase to him? The blood still seems fresh, so he should be close around here. But I can't let my Dodai die. I am not even sure if I would be able to find the kid. Also, he is dead. He was the best chakra sensor in Kumo, or even the whole elemental nations. Finding him now is going to be like trying to find a senbon in a haystack. I look at the horizon and swear in my heart, I will kill you next time, kid. MC Poff. I spread my chakra senses all around the cave that I assume is in a dark place. The only thing I sense is my clone that I made before starting the fight. I let one of my enemies alive and had my clone put him in a simple genjutsu to make him cough when the body hears the Reikaige's voice. That was plan B in case I couldn't get away from the Reikaige in time. So for the love for his comrade in critical condition, he will then go to the Mist Village to heal his friend. Though Dodei's injuries, even though they seem bad from the outside, they are even worse on the inside. He is crippled forever. Also, I placed a certain seal in the inside of his skull, and in 24 hours it will explode, and it will blow up the hospital. It will put quite a strain on the relationship between Mist Village and Cloud Village. Even if they figure out that it wasn't them who planted the trap, they wouldn't dare admit it publicly, especially Mist Village, or else the bloodline clans which were being discriminated up until now. As soon as they see a weakness, they would feast upon them like a wolf feasting on a sheep. So it seems both outcomes are good for me. I turn towards my clone, and even though I can't see him, I can sense his chakra. The clone still has the Sharingan because he was created when I still had it. He will only last for some hours with the chakra that he currently has, and I can't even transfer some to him because I am almost to the brink of chakra exhaustion. I just look at him and say calmly, "Go and genjutsu a bird and write a warning about the Reikaige's change of battlefield. Say in the letter that I can hold him back for some days. Write it in a confident way. Also tell them to recall some S-rank ninja from the other battlefields to prepare for the Reikaige." Then I hear the clone say, "Okay. But you need to calm down." What is he talking about? I am calm. Your hand is shaking and you have a childlike happy smile in your face. It is honestly creepy. Wow, what a rude bastard. He tried to calm down and touch my face. And I can feel a Joker-like smile in my face. I know I should be in panic because the Reikaige almost killed me, but I am so happy that I am alive. I then try to calm down. Well then, since this is over, I should relax. I should let my body rest. My body today got wrecked. But still, I am so happy that I survived. Ouch. I feel my body calm down and let the adrenaline wear off. After all the battle, I could feel my body begin to rest. When I sensed that my clone came back, I just looked at him with half-closed eyes and asked him, "How long do you think you have left?" 5 hours at best. I am a good medic, so the transplant should be over at worst in 2 hours. I then let myself fall asleep while taking out a storage scroll and giving it to my clone. 1 hour later. As soon as I open my eyes the next time, I get up and I feel that my body is still tired. But at least I can see. I see the lights all around me, and even a bed. Storage scrolls are really convenient. When I look at my clone's face, he was frowning and had a nervous look on his face. Immediately I ask him in a rushed voice, "What is wrong?" He just gives me a mirror, and when I look at it I couldn't help but say, "Fuke." Chapter 74, No Rest for the Wicked. Chapter 75. While looking at my face at first I didn't notice anything wrong until I looked at my spiky hair. Some strands of hair almost unnoticeable by the naked eye had started turning white. Fuke. The overuse of the creation rebirth technique has started to finally take his toll on me. Oh, how much lifespan did I lose? Probably in the battle against the Reikaige I lost most of it. Tsunade was able to use her creation rebirth more because of her Senju heritage, and even then at around 50 years old she looked like a 100-year-old hag without her transformation on. Damn IT. Okay, I need to calm down. That just means that I need to become immortal sooner than expected. The plan can just be adjusted a little. Instead of waiting till Naruto canon comes around to become immortal, then I just need to become so sooner. I can do that, but I need a plan for it. I wanted Kaguya's immortality with some higher regeneration on the side, but it seems like I will have to temporarily settle for some other type of immortality, or I could invent my own type of immortality. Then after some thinking I finally concoct a plan. Oh yeah, that could work. but that will take some more planning to get the finer details of it worked out. First order of business is to go back to Konoha and not spend any more of my vitality and lifespan on this war which no longer has any benefits for me. I already exterminated all of the Kaguya clan members. I already have enough dead bodies that have the Shikatsu-myaku bloodline limit. I then get up and look at my clone who still has the Sharingan activated. I just dispel him immediately and get his memories. Then I sit down and take out another scroll and, poof, a lot of food comes out. From cup ramen, vegetables, dried meat, and I immediately start eating. I will just wait in this cave for 3 days and then return to the camp, just in case the Raikage decides to take out his anger somewhere. It will be the camp, and if the Raikage doesn't attack, I will take the credit of holding the Raikage back all by myself, so it's a win-win situation for me. If he does attack, I just say to the higher-ups that I did my best. I even lost an arm and almost died, but the first situation is the better win for me. 3 days later. I am currently still in the cave. I sent a shadow clone to scout out the Konoha camp and see if the Raikage already attacked it. After some hours I get the memories of my dispelled clone. The camp was okay. The memories were mostly from the clone confirming if it was a trap or not. The clone, after much inspection, confirmed that it was not a trap. So I myself went outside of the cave for the first time in 3 days. I could feel the sun shining in my eyes, and not having a Sharingan is going to suck. Everything just became 120% harder. I stealthily get off the island and start running on water towards the land of noodles, which is the place where Konoha and Mist Village fight in order to not destroy their own lands. When I got close to the camp, I didn't hide anymore, and one of the patrol ninja noticed me and came towards me. He looked like your average Chunin. I saw in his eyes that he realized who I was. He also looked at my missing arm and the huge scar in my neck. I didn't bother to hide either of them. I need to be seen as a hero for when I return to Konoha. Even though he recognized me because of protocols, he still asked me in a serious voice, "The ramen in the land of noodles is hot." I just look at him seriously and answer, "But the tea in Konoha is better. Also the ramen has gotten cold lately." The code changes every day, but this was an answer that showed that I was the real deal and that I had been on a long-time mission. He just nods at me and signals for me to follow him. I do so and go to the camp. When I go inside, I see some of the Hyuga and Uchiha clan members look at me suspiciously. Well, I know why they are acting like that. I already have a plan on how to take care of it. The Jounin that I left to run the camp are still all alive. As soon as they see me, they tell me to follow them. They will escort me to the camp leaders. I secretly do a hand sign to them without the Chunin even noticing anything. I ask them with hand signs what is going on. It seems that apparently 2 rank ninja were sent to hold back the Raikage, and while I was away, it seems like me having a Sharingan has become a SENSITIVE situation. Apparently I am under suspicion of killing an Uchiha and taking his eyes, so I confirmed what I already suspected. I knew that making promises that I probably won't keep to these Jounin would pay off one day. I go into the tent and see who it was. The first face that I saw has eyes with snake-like pupils with long hair and pale skin. He is wearing a Jounin jacket. As soon as I saw him, I was immediately in 100% alert mode. It was Orochimaru. I will need to be very careful around him, especially with what now is the me having a Sharingan situation. Damn, I can never get a break, can I? Also, the other person is Chapter 75. The truth, the other guy beside Orochimaru is Jiraiya. Even though he will become Konoha's spy master in the future, I can still somehow handle him, but I need to be extremely careful around Orochimaru, though I will still need to be on guard even against Jiraiya. Jiraiya is smiling towards me and says in a cheery voice, "Ha ha ha, it seems like it was true you were able to hold back the Raikage." I just smile at him and point towards my missing arm and the scar in my neck and say with a melancholic tone in my voice, "Honestly, I was barely able to get out of this alive." Then while sitting down on the ground, he points at the ground besides him and says, "Come sit down and relax. You fought one of the strongest living ninja. A cage, a leader of a whole ninja village. He then grabs a cup of what it smells like watered down sake and he drinks it. You should be happy it calls for a celebration, so come on, let's eat some nice food that I brought directly from Konoha. Then his face scrunched up in disgust. I know how gross the cardboard food can be on the front lines. He takes out a storage scroll and, poof, a lot of food and drinks come out of the smoke. I just smile politely and sit down on the ground with the table in front of me, facing Jiraiya and Orochimaru. I look at Orochimaru, who still has a cold look on his face looking towards me. Then suddenly a small smirk appears on his lips and he says, "You can relax now. No matter what, we can protect the camp. It is no longer your responsibility." He definitely is a perceptive snake. After half an hour of eating and talking, Jiraiya is doing most of the latter, when suddenly he says, "I need to go to the bathroom." When he goes outside of the tent, the atmosphere immediately becomes awkward, and I don't care about the awkwardness. I need an opening in Orochimaru to be able to slightly manipulate him, plus I need to be extra careful with smart and dangerous people like him. Suddenly Orochimaru is the first to break the ice, and with a weird smile on his face he says, "I wonder, is it true that you were able to hold back the Raikage, or were you lying?" "This is it." I just smile slightly, and with a strange tone in my voice and a pitying look I say to him, "So you suspect my story? I suppose it is only to be expected. Though you have my pity. There is no such thing as truth or lies in this world. There never has been. There is only plain, hard facts. And yet, all beings who exist in this world take only those facts that are convenient to them, and take them to be the truth. They do so because they know no other way to live. However, for those powerless beings that make up the majority of this world, it is those facts that are inconvenient for their own self-affirmation that make up the real truth." The more I talk, the more his eyes widen. He has a shocked look in his face. It was hard to keep myself from smirking. Sometimes it is easier to trick a genius than an idiot. Also checkmate Orochimaru. Then after a couple of minutes Jiraiya comes in. Orochimaru now has a calm mask on, but I can see it in his eyes, the barely hidden curiosity and contemplation. The rest of the day passed like this, Jiraiya messing around. As soon as Jiraiya came back from the toilet, Orochimaru excused himself and he went away. Then I had all night to try and keep an act and a lie going on, always being 100% alert and on guard to not let anything slip out, though I am smiling on the outside. This is a very stressful situation for me. I had to describe a whole different battle against the Raikage which did not even happen. I had thought of what to say, but then Jiraiya kept asking stupidly accurate questions. I had to do a lot of very careful improvising. Tomorrow. You know, Jiraiya is way more smarter than he seems. I mean, even though I tried very hard to give accurate descriptions mixed with a lot of half-lies, and at the end I tried to lead the story on him to think that I am hiding something, and when he mixes the clues together with the story I had cooked up, he will discover what I am trying to hide. The truth is that I used the Raikage's teammates as a hostage and such. I also got the confirmation that I can return to Konoha whenever I want now, after getting everything ready and even having a team to escort me. Before taking off, I go to Jiraiya's tent, and when I go inside I see him writing some book or something like that. He turned towards me, and when he locked eyes with me, he smiled and said in a cheery voice, "Do you need something, Yami, or did you come here to say goodbye to the gallant Jiraiya?" I just smile slightly and take out a scroll from my Jounin flak jacket and toss it towards him. After he catches it, I just smirk at him and say, "There are 4 of the 7 ninja swords in that scroll. I promised Tsunade-sensei that I would single-handedly end the war against the mist. It seems like I won't be able to do so. Use the swords as a bargain or something to help end this horrible war." I act a little sad when saying the last part. Jiraiya then looks at me with a serious look. "Don't worry, Yami, you have comrades you can depend into." He then smiles again. "If you ask them, I am sure they will give you a shoulder to lean on, and help you hold that burden." I just nod and smile at him. I then thank him. Then I go towards the team that I will be traveling with. There are 14 members. Most of them are Chunin. There are a couple Uchiha giving me the stink eye. but I just simply ignore them. I think back on the words that Juraeus said. But he doesn't understand that to trust in another person's ability is the same as to rely upon that person. Reliance is for the weak. It is of no use to meet the end of the day. The only person I can rely on to fix my problems is myself, and as soon as I arrive in Konoha, the problem with me allegedly stealing a Sharingan, it is upon my shoulders to fix that problem. Chapter 76, Changing Masks. Then we immediately take off, jumping from tree to tree. This is another thing that I lost now that I don't have the Sharingan. I used to travel with Shunshin everywhere. I would have been in Konoha in 20 minutes tops. I then look at my squad. And with these guys dragging me down, now it will probably take around 3 days. Sigh, this is going to be a long journey. Surprisingly, we arrived in Konoha only after 2 days. But it sure felt longer than that. There was not a lot of conversation going on. I got close to all of them except the Ukihas. Anyway, we are finally here. Seeing the giant gates of Konoha almost gives me a sense of relief. As soon as I go towards the gate, the guards greet me and look at my arm. I just nod towards them and the Chunin team splits and they each go their own way. Then, I am about to go towards the Inuzuka clan compound, but suddenly 3 Anbu appeared in front of me. They all had masks with animal drawings in them, so that means that they probably are not root ninja. Then one of them with the eagle mask says to me in a calm voice, "Jounin Yami, you are invited to report your battlefield experiences to the Hokage." Then there will also be a clan hearing after that. I just look at them, then I smile and say to them, "Oh okay, I will remember to do so after I go and greet my family. I haven't seen my mother and Tsum in a long time." Then as I am about to walk away, the Anbu with the hawk mask touches my shoulder and says in a stern tone, like scolding a kid, "I would suggest that you go see the Hokage, Yami-san." Anbu poff. This one-armed kid, who does he think he is to refuse the Hokage? As soon as I grabbed the kid's shoulder, he turned around and he had a very serious face. His eyes cold and bloodshot that put chills in my back. Voom! I could feel a formless pressure from the kid, and then the kid says quietly, in a strong voice, "I will kill you. Right here, right now." Chirp 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 chirp. Then a heavy killing intent comes out of the kid, and even birds started running away as if sensing the danger. Suddenly the world turned red all around. Then I feel like I am being butchered with a dull knife. Pain is ringing all around my body. Blood is flowing like a river from all of my wounds. I could hear the loud scream of a woman in pain right next to my ear. I turn back and see those cold eyes staring at me, and the dull knives start to gently skin me alive. MC Poff. I look at the guy who is standing in front of me. He has let go of my shoulder and his Anbu mask fell off. His mouth is open and his eyes are dull. I put him in a genjutsu as soon as he touched me. The other Anbu are looking at me in shock and they seem ready to attack. Then I disperse all my bloodl.u.s.t. and smile at them slightly with a ridiculing look in my face. I am just joking. Then the Anbu who touched my shoulder seems like he broke out of my genjutsu, and as soon as he does so, he gets on his knees and, he throws up on the ground. It seems like I will have to get rid of the innocent and naive kid mask. I just look at him with a serious face. "You know, you're lucky that I am so nice. If it was some other S-rank Konoha ninja like Okaimaru, you would have thrown up more than your lunch." And then I started walking towards the Inuzuka clan compound. I don't even stop at my mother's house and immediately go towards the clan head's house. When I enter my house, after making sure no one is around, I go into my room and stomp hard on the floor. Bam! A piece of the wooden floor is broken. I take out the broken wood and jump down on the hole I created, and I land on the ground. Then I make a hand sign. Poof! A clone appears next to me. I extend my hand towards him and he does the same. We start doing some hand signs together. I use an earth jutsu to move the earth below me. and a hole that only someone around my size can enter. The clone nods at me and waits up there. Then I jump down again with chakra strings attached all around to slow down my fall. And at the end of it, after 20 meters or so underground, I see a jar with a kanji meaning iron inscribed in it. I pick it up and I jump up with the help of chakra strings. After getting to the top, I sit down cross-legged, and with my hand I touch the jar. With my clone keeping watch over me, I let my conscience go into the jar. Soon I am in a white space, and I see in the middle of this white space there is a creature that resembles a dark purple leech with a serpent-like body on its face. It wears a blank white-colored mask that has the kanji for 0 on it, which is tan in color, and 5 red hair-like strands sprouting from it, 4 at the top and 1 at the bottom. It is surrounded in chains holding it down together with 5 giant steel pillars connected by chains in a circular way. All of that is holding the creature down. As soon as it sees me, it tries to send some dark chakra towards me, but it is blocked by all the seals. Then a mouth on the mask, and the mouth in the mask moves, and it says, "I see that you only have 1 arm. Now I can heal it for you. If you want, I can give you unimaginable power, a power that can strengthen you the stronger your enemy is. I can make you stronger, the strongest." Chapter 77. You are my pet. I see that you only have 1 arm. Now I can heal it for you. If you want, I can give you unimaginable power, a power that can strengthen you the stronger your enemy is. I can make you stronger. So he can talk. I just look at it, smile and say to the Zero Tails in a calm voice, "I always assumed that you had some sort of intelligence, but I am surprised to know that it was so low. Let me explain." Then I make a hand sign and the pillars shine with lightning around them, and then, boom, it started shocking the Zero Tails. The Zero Tails gets shocked and his body tries to move because it's in pain, but the seals don't allow him to move at all. His body just shakes a little and he screams. I keep the lighting going for 20 seconds and then stop. I get close to the Zero Tails, who now has smoke come out of his burnt flesh. I look at it and say in a cold voice, "So have you come to your senses now? Do you understand now? Our relationship isn't as equals." I then look at its face and say, "You are my pet and I am your master, so never misunderstand our relationship, little leech. Another temper tantrum like this and you get demoted to a lab rat." Immediately as soon as I say that, it doesn't move. I have plans that when I go into the Konoha clan head meeting there is a chance, however small, that they might be unreasonable, or maybe by my influence I have changed the canon timeline and the Hokage is under a genjutsu, so if they might try to silence me, or even someone like Madara, who currently should be in a cave in an unknown location, might do something unexpected and ruin my plans. So if I need to run away, I will release the Zero Tails in the middle of the village and become a missing nin. Maybe go over to the village hidden in the grass, kill its leader, impersonate him and continue lurking in the shadows researching, and then come out and join Akatsuki, assassinate Obito and impersonate him in the 4th Ninja War. Get the 10 tails and the rest will be history. That I will write, as I will be the victor. So if I see that there is no other option than to become a missing nin, that is the day Yami and Yuzuka will die. Though this is a world that I know the future of, there are many unstable factors in this thing that this has become like a house of cards. If I am not careful enough with some minor details, my knowledge of future events, without my careful intervention, everything will fall down also like a house of cards. So I need even my plans to have plans and my secrets to have secrets. I have to keep my mind open to numerous possibilities and options, never let myself get tunnel vision and concentrate on only one enemy. I have enemies everywhere inside and out of Konoha. I look at the leech again and say, "Have we come to an agreement?" Then the leech gives a quiet yes. I immediately make a hand sign and the pillars start flashing again. Then his eyes in his mask widen and it quickly says, "Yes, yes master." I then drop my hand down and the flashing pillars go back to normal. I start walking away, but as I do so I turn around towards the Zero Tails and tell him in a mocking tone, "Next time don't say it that loud, it sounds weird." I don't look at its face and I make another hand seal and, phosh, my conscience is pulled out of the jar and now I am in front of my clone. I then take the jar in my hand and throw it towards the clone. He catches it. I then take a normal stone from from the ground and put some chakra into it. As soon as I do that, strange seals start being made on the stone. Another invisible seal appears into my hand. I look at my clone and he nods. Seriously, he knows what to do. If the stone breaks, release the zero tails on the village, and with the negative emotions it has been creating by itself, it will wreak quite a havoc before it stopped giving me a window to escape. Soon I get out of the hole in my floor and I am back to my room. My clone will move later and get into position. I go take a shower, which I haven't had in a long time. The battlefield sure is a nasty place. Then as I am wiping my hair and look at my 11-year-old body with one arm, countless scars all over my body, but only two stand out, one in the neck, which I got recently from the Reikage, and another giant slash scar into my chest. This was from that sand ninja during the ambush. I also noticed the slightly graying hair. I then wear a black kimono with Anbu pants and go outside of my house. As soon as I go outside, I see a dog with white fur come towards me. It took me a second to recognize him. It's Shira, my Ninken. He has grown a little. He used to be as small as a pup. Now he has gotten bigger and looks like a snow white wolf. But he is still kind of small. As soon as it comes towards me and starts rubbing his face on my leg, I bend down and pick him up by the back of his neck. I bring Shiro up to my face level and look him in the eyes. He looks at me happily, wiggling his tail with his tongue out. I then squint my eyes and say to him in a serious face, "You have put on some weight, Shiro." His tail stops shaking and his ears fall down in sadness. Then he just looks down and w.h.i.n.s a little. Then I just smile at Shiro, put him down and scratch the back of his neck. He then lies on his back and shows me his belly. I just smile and tell him in a jokingly way, "Wait for me, little guy." Then I get up, walk outside of my house and start going towards the Hokage Tower. When I arrive there, I look at it with a cold, calculating look in my face. It seems like it's time I started getting serious. Chapter 78, Politics 101 with the Army Sensei Part 1. Then I open the doors to the Hokage Tower and immediately I see all of the clan heads in the crowded. There also seem to be some of the successors of the clan heads in here, except the Yamanaka clan head who has a proxy, Senju, and some other unimportant clans who are probably on the front lines. As soon as I enter, I see all eyes on me. The clan leaders are all sitting in a big circular table, with the Hokage having the highest chair, showing that he is the highest position of power. The Hokage looks at me with a strange look. He probably wanted to meet me before the clan head meeting. I would have gone there. He would have probably tried to help me. After all, I am the most talented ninja that Konoha has had in all of its existence. I would have gone to him for help. If I was innocent, that is. I definitely don't underestimate Hiruzen's ability to read me. He will be the longest Hokage in power in the future. You don't go that far by being nice and good all the time. I am not saying he isn't kind, but if he knew I really did steal the Sharingan, well, that would backfire in me. By not going to him, it might make him suspicious, and it will definitely make Danzo doubt me. But I am still only a kid, an 11-year-old kid who just was in a death battle and is just having a temper tantrum. Third Poff, the Uchiha clan leader, sits to the right of the Hokage. He looks at his successor, a 19-year-old Fugaku, sitting to his right, and his young daughter Mikoto to his left. He communicated with hand signs with Fugaku, telling him to not cause a ruckus or anything like that. When all of the clan heads sit down, they don't whisper anything or even talk. They all communicate between each other by using hand signs. Yami looks around and sees that there is no seat for him. Then he just simply takes out a scroll. Everyone instinctively tenses up and Yami runs some chakra through the scroll. Poof! A normal chair comes out of the smoke and Yami brings it closer to the round table and sits on it, taking his seat as the Inuzuka clan head. The other clan heads are looking at him with cold looks. relax. He just challenged their power play. It's the same as Yami challenging their authority. When Yami sees this, he sits down, he looks at all of them and smiles. Hello, long time no see. I really missed Konoha. It is so sad that I couldn't meet Suman and my mother. Even when I was tired I went to my house and didn't find them there. Then I remembered Ananbu told me that there was a clan meeting and immediately came here, finally taking a shower without having to use a water jutsu or being afraid of a kunai stabbing me in the butt hole. Some of the clan heads politely laugh while some are truly laughing. The Uchiha and a couple of other clans don't even smile. Yami just looks at them secretly while memorizing every one of the clan names. That would be a problem. Playing dumb can turn a power play on its head. When someone has to explain exactly how they are threatening you, it becomes either laughable or plain evil, both of which are more easily resisted, thinks Yami. Then suddenly the Hokage clears his throat and all of the clan heads immediately stop communicating with hand signs. Then the Hokage looks towards Yami and says in a calm and serious voice, "We are glad to have you here, Yami." Fugaku Uchiha is about to say something, but the Uchiha clan head notices this and looks at him coldly. Fugaku's words got stuck in his throat and he didn't say anything. The Uchiha clan leader can't help but look at the Inuzuka kid in a new light. The kid melted all of the ice and suspicion when he got here by acting like he did. He already knows what is happening. He also showed that cold look to Uchiha, the Hyuga and the Kurama clan. He is telling us not to act against him. No, he is ordering us that kid just because he got a little fame. He thinks that the Uchiha are so weak. Even though the anger inside the Uchiha clan head was like a volcano, he had an impassive face like nothing happened. He looks towards Fugaku, the future clan head, that the current clan head is trying to make him understand the political side of Konoha. Just strength and pride are not enough to be prosperous in Konoha. Fugaku will need some more self-control before he can be married to Mikoto and take over as the clan head. Hiruzen smiles and says to Yami, "I heard that you did some amazing things on the battlefield and saved hundreds of lives. Tsunade is very proud of you." Yami didn't stop smiling at all and said in a sincere voice, "Thanks Hokage-sama. I am glad that I was able to help. Also I gave Jiraiya-sama the 4 ninja swords that I took when I killed their welders. I hope that Jiraiya-sama is able to use them to broker peace with the land of water." The Hokage nods and then he gets a serious look. Jonin Yami Inuzuka, due to some troublesome news they say that they have seen you using a chain-like Fuinjutsu technique. Everyone is looking at Yami with a serious face. But Yami seems like he is oblivious to the looks around him and says with an even wider smile, and he seems completely relaxed,